Hey, it's Russ Payton with Rule Playing Public Radio. This is RPPR Actual Play. We're playing Delta Green today, but I am not running this game. I get to play. It's great. And a friend of the podcast, Adam Scott Glancy, is playtesting a new scenario set on an oil rig, and we don't know much else, and we don't know the title, because the title could be what they might call foreshadowing. So our characters certainly don't know what's going on, but yeah, take it away.
All right. Do you want me to start an intro for the scenario for the viewing public?
Yes.
All right. So as I was saying, you are here in fabulous downtown Baffin Bay, which is as far away from civilization as you're likely to be able to get. Baffin Bay is between Canada and Greenland. This collection of ne'er-do-wells are the crew of a Arctic drilling platform called the Arctic Venture. Starting, I guess it was back in the turn of the century, the nice folks in Greenland created their own national oil company called Nuna Oil, and they started giving out oil leases because certain USGS surveys of Greenland had predicted that there were going to be something like between 17 and maybe 36 billion barrels of oil under Greenland. That would put them somewhere north of places like the United States, Brazil. And since there's only 56,000 people in all of Greenland, that would go a long way towards filling everybody's pocket. At the moment, Greenland is a semi-autonomous part of the Kingdom of Denmark. They don't have their own armed forces. The Danish military is in charge of anything like Coast Guard, naval activity, search and rescue, things like that. And they end up subsidizing the government of Greenland to the tunes of tens of millions of dollars or kroner or whatever every year. Greenland it's one option for sort of, at least back in 2020 when the scenario is set, one option for getting out from under this status of just a glacier-covered Arctic wilderness was mineral extraction, because apparently they've got some uranium deposits they've discovered in southern Greenland. And, I mean, those are besides the uranium that was blasted all over northern Greenland when we crashed a B-52 bomber there in, 1958. And I believe haven't recovered one of the bombs or part of the fuel from one of the bombs, something like that. Anyways, it made the Danes very annoyed, and I'm sure it won't be part of the scenario since I've brought it up now. For those of you who are familiar with things like Philis Air Force Base, I have to point out that there is no such thing anymore. It is now called Tufik Space Base, in that it now has the native name of the Nunavik people who live in Greenland, and it is now part of the recently created Space Force. So it's mostly just a big early warning center, for watching out for incoming missiles. To my knowledge, it doesn't, they don't base nuclear weapons there anymore. They used to. At first, they used to without telling the Danes. That was cool. But now it is just a early warning radar site there. That's the end of the U.S. presence in Greenland. The Baffin Bay is the area between Greenland and Canada. That is the less horrible part of Greenland. The eastern coast of Greenland apparently has these Bora-style windstorms that are capable of picking up empty cargo containers like you'd find on container ships. It's capable of picking those up and throwing them, because there's too much surface area and not enough weight inside an empty cargo container. Those winds, pick people up off the ground. It's why there aren't as many settlements on the East Coast. It's really horrible. The weather's terrible. And so the oil exploration is going on inside Baffin Bay, where the seas are relatively less horrible. And thanks to global warming, there's less ice, which means it's easier to find new hydrocarbons. And I'm sure that won't cause a problem. Now, the reason the scenario
is called a virtuous circle.
Yeah.
That's the economic term for it.
Yeah.
Profits go up, up, up. Yeah.
The line always goes
nothing
up.
else. Yeah.
I will point out that the reason this scenario is set in 2020 is that just next summer, after when the scenario is set, Greenland, for some reason, decides to ban all drilling, or they won't give out any more oil leases for Greenland. There's no more digging into the earth allowed, and I'm sure that has nothing to do with the scenario. In the meantime, the company you're working for is Fost Oil. In a normal situation, an oil company like Fost would, they would buy the oil lease. Then they would lease the derrick, the platform, from a company that actually owns it. The Arctic Venture is your platform. And then a third company would provide all of the crew. And for not only the rig crew, but also the drilling crew. They'd come from two different corporations in order to put this together. One of the things on the platform usually is something called the company man. The company man is the representative of the oil company. He's your Burke. He's the guy who's going to be in charge of all the bad calls, Ripley. But that's the guy who would be sort of negotiating between all these different corporate employees from different contractors that are working on the rig. That doesn't exist in this case. In this case, Fost Oil has directly hired everybody that's on the rig. And that's the catering staff, the, medics, the welders, scaffolders, roughnecks, mudmen, whole 9 yards. Everything's been hired by Fost directly.
Integration.
Yeah. Which has come with NDA, which everybody had to sign before they got on the rig. You guys are getting paid about twice the rate for what you're doing. And going out into a hardship posting like this, where the closest thing to civilization is a town of 14,000 people called Nuuk, which is the capital of Greenland. Or not 19,000, excuse me, I didn't mean to undershoot that. About a third of the people in Greenland live in one town. So you can imagine what the rest of it is like. Since your ability to work this rig is going to be a hardship duty because you're not going to have shore leave. You're going to be out there for 3 months in the summer when the ice is at its furthest recede. And yes, there's a helicopter on the rig and there are launches and lifeboats and things like that. But there's no bringing crews in and out on the rig, okay, because of the isolation. But also, apparently, because of the secrecy. Let's see here. If you guys would go around and introduce yourselves to the listeners, and if you want to introduce yourselves with your backstory that the other players don't know, I am perfectly willing to trust everyone to be good role players and not be the people who go, oh, Ross mentioned this. We should push him off the oil rig at the earliest opportunity. Frankly, none of you really picked a poison pill character, so that's fine.
All right. Hey, this is Max from Relatable Rolls. Today I am playing Lieutenant Commander from the USN Reserve's Clark Hudson, the ship's pilot and dynamic positioning operator. After 8 years in the Navy, I have joined the petroleum industry as a way to get more money for my family. My wife was defrauded by my brother-in-law and from an investment scheme and has wiped out the family savings. I have a son approaching college age and a daughter with severe autism, and those bills just keep piling up. So I need to make money and fast. The Fost Oil said that my military background would be useful for this particular mission, which they asked me if I could do violence to preserve the mission, and I lied and agreed.
Next.
I'm playing I'm playing Dr. Beth Townsend, who has had an illustrious and wonderful career with no hiccups whatsoever, and has decided to join the employment with Fost Oil to be the chief medical officer of the rig. Just looking for a new change of pace, a new environment to, grow as a human.
All right.
Totally wonderful backstory. Nothing bad's ever happened to this wonderful woman.
I trust Dr. Townsend.
Yeah, you should. Especially with surgeries. I got you, fam.
Okay. Hey, it's Ross Payton with Role Playing Public Radio. I am playing Lorenzo Tassoni, who is the dive master I was actually also from the military, the Italian Navy, from Com Sub In Commando. The rest of it is Italian, basically a deep diving underwater rescue, job. And I left the Italian Navy 2 years ago and started working in the petroleum industry. Unfortunately, I was making too much money because it attracted the attention of the Camorra, the localized, organized, crime group in Naples. And now I need to keep paying them to keep my very large family safe. And so I have to keep taking riskier jobs. And the secret, I said I understood that this has to be kept secret at all costs, but I'm not like really enthusiastic about the idea of using lethal force. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
All right.
How the heck am I supposed to follow after that? Hey guys, it's me. I'm V from Queen's Court Games, and today I'm playing Philis Trask. Definitely not an old lady's name, and I am a geologist and the offshore operations engineer for the oil rig. I'm incredibly competent and I'm well respected as a geologist in the oil industry. My work has always been exemplary. But unfortunately, 3 years ago, my husband was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And because the U.S. is a fucking hellhole, my employer found a way to let me go, so they wouldn't have to continue paying for my insurance premiums. So the cost of maintaining insurance through the Affordable Care Act has been made worse by the cost of an unsuccessful suit against my former employer, because of course you have to protect the big corporations, not the little guy. And the legal and medical bills have completely bankrupted my entire family and emptied my children's college funds. And I have 2 kids, so that's doubly awful. So basically, if I don't take this chance with Fost Oil, everybody's facing financial failure. I'm risking a lot here, but I love my husband and I look out for my family and I care a lot about my kids. And unfortunately, it's the only job I can get. So here we are.
Well, you proved that you're a disloyal employee by suing your former employer. So that's going to get you, obviously they can't hire you. You're some sort of bullshit, saboteur.
No, it's true. I totally understand. Looking back where I went wrong. Absolutely.
Questioning the system. Ugh, unforgivable.
God, could you imagine?
In 2020, when the systems are so sound and secure and not crumbling around
put together. Yeah.
I will point out that all of you guys got your COVID tests before you got on the boat. I mean,
we have to.
Everyone was tested and everyone was kept in quarantine.
Because there's no vaccine yet.
Yeah.
So,
I'm glad this criminal oil drilling operation has better quarantine protocols than, a public school.
Do you know how hard it was?
Do
you know how hard it was finding a bunch of compromised losers who are still good at their jobs?
We got to keep these guys healthy.
You guys are not a dime a dozen, all right? We had to work to get this crew together. Yeah, we're not going to take the chance of you all coming down with the sniffles offshore, Because what will be better than, having COVID on an oil rig?
I'm sure we're about to find out exactly what's going to be better than having COVID.
Oh, good point.
Yeah.
And finally, you're brought to...
Hi, I'm Caleb Stokes. I write for Delta Green, and I do stuff like this on Delta Green Dead channels. And I'm very happy to play a character that knows nothing about parallel deep state conspiracies fighting against the outer dark. And is just, a Canadian who got OD'd on drugs and got fired from his geological engineering position from Exxon. So I'm just trying to stay clean. I'm probably doing 2 people's jobs, if I had to imagine, working in the roughneck crew, by the way corporations typically operate. And I need that because I've definitely lost custody of my kids and am trying to stay on the straight and narrow. But the good thing is it's difficult to find a dealer in the Baffin Bay currently. I don't have a connect. I'm sure I'm trying to make some, but it's... Yeah,
I will warn you that as I'm lucked out and had a Danish Delta Green fan friend me on Facebook, and then I, poked him a little bit about Greenland, and he recommended 2 guys I could talk to online about conditions in Greenland, because one of them went over there as a social worker.
Ooh.
One of them lives there, but the social worker from Copenhagen was like, yeah, they only send you over there for 2 years because otherwise you'll blow your brains out. Greenland has
I have
one of
no
the
doubt there are drugs on the oil rig. I just am not seeking them out, and I don't know where they're at yet.
The drug of choice apparently in Greenland is, whatever sugar is. It's basically toilet wine, sugar brewed hooch from foodstuffs brought in, or industrial solvents and gasoline. That's the mainland choice of drugs. Nobody's smuggling black tar heroin into Nook. Okay, the horrible news is it's all stuff that's either brewed up locally, or made from like I said, solvents, paint thinners, horrible stuff like that. De-icers.
Well, I mean, I think I have a key to the chemicals cabinet. So if I get hard up, I can go down there. Until then, I'm going to be a guy with nearly a doctorate trying to pretend he belongs on the drilling platform with a bunch of dudes covered in mud, a slinging chain like psychopath. But I fit in here.
Well, you know what you're doing.
At least know what I'm doing. Yeah.
I will say one thing just for everyone's sort of background on how these platforms work. This platform is going to be anchored. That's because it's not drilling where it's supposed to be. Your platform is drilling much closer to the shore than you believe the lease allowed for, because there was a whole thing about how far offshore, but it's still also in Greenland waters you're allowed to sink a pipe. You guys are a lot closer to the shore. And between geologist being a mudman, and I'll explain what a mudman is in a second, and our Clark Hudson, who is our positioning person, who's the navigator, you're way too close to the shore. Dr. Trask knows that based on the kind of spoil that's been coming out of the drill shaft, you're not drilling straight down. At the wellhead, the guy who's the so-called company man is a fellow named, if I can, okay. The company man is a fellow named Lewis Stanton, and Stanton is the guy directing the actual drilling operations. The OIM, the offshore installation manager, is a guy named Henry Dodge. He's just in charge of the rig, getting it from keeping the rig operational. The drilling is done by the drilling crew, and even though the OIM has authority to shut down certain things if there are dangers involved to the rig, but they don't get to say which way the shaft is sunk as far as drilling the well goes. So, and Caleb's character absolutely has noticed that that they are slant drilling the pipe much closer to shore than they're supposed. This is all illegal, and if this went sideways, the Arctic Venture could be seized and impounded by the Royal Dutch Navy. It's a facility that's worth literally hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. Especially one that's outfitted for Arctic drilling. That's like a $500 million, Suddenly I keep hearing, Burke saying, this is a multi-billion-dollar facility. He can't make that decision. But yeah, it is. It is that kind of cost. And you guys could end up, in jail. Of course, I'm not exactly sure there's enough jails in the Ook to take everybody into custody. They might have to put you up at the local hotel, 3-door room, to actually. It would be a logistical nightmare for Greenland to try and deal with this. So, regardless, the one thing I want to this is a semi-submerged platform. There's huge ballast legs that hold this thing up, and those are flooded and pumped out to raise and lower the platform to the surface of the water. But you guys are also close enough to the shore that anchors have been dropped to prevent the platform from being moved around in the weather. The one thing I wanted to explain was the concept of mud. This is something I didn't know until I started poking around with the whole concept of any kind of drilling. Modern petrochemical drilling requires the use of the stuff that they refer to colloquially as mud. Essentially, it is coolant and lubricant that is pumped in and out of the pipe, of the drill pipe, the same pipe that would be pulling up petroleum or whatever. And they pump it down to the bottom of the shaft. They also pump it back up. And they do it on a regular basis. And it not only pulls the spoil up out of the pipe. It keeps the material that you're drilling through coming up on a regular basis. It also cools the drill head so that it doesn't heat up, so the metal doesn't expand, and so it doesn't jam up or start. And it also acts as a lubricant. It's like an external lubricant, like for any mechanical device that you'd want to have oil involved or some sort of lubricant. And it is this sure, perfectly safe combination of chemicals that in no way will give you cancer for working with it. I don't know about that. I presume not, only because the richest people, when I was going to school in Tulane, New Orleans in the 80s, the richest people in the city of New Orleans were attorneys who worked injury claims for offshore oil field workers. Right? And if there was something that they used on every platform that gave people cancer, those guys wouldn't just have been rich. They would have been obscenely fucking rich. They would have been insanely wealthy if there was something that damaged everybody. So I presume there's not like an asbestos thing you need to worry about. So the mudmen, the mud engineer, is the guy who's sort of in charge of making sure that the drill head is properly lubricated with mud and properly cooled, and is also part of the system that analyzes the spoil that's being brought up. Because once the mud and the spoil is brought up, it has to be separated. The spoil is dumped back into the ocean, and once it's removed from the mud, there's an opportunity to analyze the spoil, see what kind of materials being brought up. Is there any chance you're moving into the kind of sediments and sedimentary rock that is likely to have oil in it, or what? So that's the process that goes on with mud, and it's a big deal because the mud is brought to the site on the derrick. I mean, you're not going to necessarily be able to get much more of it if there's a spillage and you lose a bunch of mud. It's kind of a big deal. Is there any questions you have before we start up here on the, let's see here, I think it's the afternoon of
July 12th?
Yep.
It says at the top of the handout.
That should. July 12th, 2020. I don't even know what's going on in the rest of the world. It's probably a very auspicious date, but I don't know. I picked it randomly. I just a little over 3 weeks into your drilling is when I picked it up.
Yeah, the only thing the handout didn't really mention is like what the divemaster does. Is that more like checking the rig itself for maintenance? And like,
here's the thing: there is a remotely piloted vehicle guy on the rig, and there are remotely piloted vehicles. The divemaster's job is literally what if everything goes wrong. This is all supposed to be done welding in these waters, sort of repairs and things. They want that to be done with remotely operated vehicles, ROVs. But some things can go wrong. And if you're all out of ROVs, then I guess we're putting the guy who's the underwater welder into the water in Arctic waters to go fix the problem. There's that film from the 60s or 70s called The Red Tent about Albert Nobili's Zeppelin that goes down in the Arctic. And there's a bit where the Russian icebreaker, Soviet icebreaker, is trying to get to them, and they screw up the prop in the ice, and they have to put a guy over the side in Arctic waters in one of those deep sea diving suits to, weld or fix the prop. And as they're putting the guy in, I'm like, that's just canvas. That is just wet canvas next to his body. He has literally no isolation. He's just going into the fucking ice water to go, run an oxyacetylene torch or something under the water. Okay,
when I taught, we had a bunch of vocational kids that were really into welding, and they figured out how much you got paid to be an underwater deep dive welder like that. So I had to do a lot of research on the myriad of ways those guys die every year. Like, they have a worse mortality rate than like most special forces. Militaries around the world
who are fighting an active war.
Yeah, it is a insanely deadly job.
Yeah.
I read it.
Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say I've read Jeff Lemire's Underwater Welder. I know what's down there, and even the best conditions.
Yeah.
So, technically speaking, you are the spare tire for the spare tire. But you have another job you're expected to do. Because this kind of drilling is not popular with certain eco groups, certain green groups, there's always the possibility of protests. There's certainly, I guess, is this the summer of George Floyd? Is 2020 the summer of George Floyd?
Yeah.
Okay. So no doubt you guys got satellite television here on the rig. You're seeing those stories. Management undoubtedly is seeing those stories, and they're deathly scared that Antifa is going to come to the rig and, paint, spray
perfectly
paint.
rational response, but I have no doubt that petrochemical guys would imagine.
Yeah, that or there's something that's a stand-in for that fear as they're watching.
Yeah, there's some 17-year-old with a balaclava and a baseball bat in a boat heading out to
in a Zodiac. Yeah,
I got him. He's right next to like the guy from the Gomorrah coming to break Ross's character's knees. Like they're going to meet midway in their dinghies. Yeah.
Oh no.
But that fear, whether it's reasonable or not, is definitely one that's been expressed by corporate. And so having former military people on the boat is something they thought would be to their advantage to ensure that sabotage from the outside doesn't happen. However, the platform is not armed. There are no firearms on the platform. The way to deal with sabotage, there's literally the answer is fire hoses. They will turn the fire suppression system on people who try to board if there was an attempt to board or hang a protest thing, they would turn on the fire hoses and knock them off the boat if it was coming to that. They would also call the Danish Navy, except
it's illegal.
You're not in the right position.
Yep.
So calling the Danish Navy is not something you can do. The thought of protest, the things that protesters, the problems they could cause can't really be handled by a guy with, big muscles looking like, those Italian Hercules movies. Can't really be handled by that guy because if they've got a geopositioning system or can document the location of the ship, that's just super bad. That's not good for anybody. Regardless, that's where we stand. I should say that there are weapons. There are actually, 2 weapons on the ship. There are a pair of over and under shotguns that the OIM dragged out here that he uses to shoot skeet off the side of the rig. He's just got bird shot for him, and they're, just 16 grade shotguns. Which, I don't know if anyone, for those of you who can shoot, that's a little big for shooting skeet, but maybe he's not very good at shooting skeet. Any case, that's the closest thing to an arsenal on this thing. Now, there are a million things on this deck, this derrick that will get you killed. There's huge, horrible wrenches and massive tools and welders and arc welders and, there's no end of terrible things that can happen on a rig and tools that you can turn into weapons, So as far as that goes. However, firearms are not something anyone wants here. Not the least of which.
Insert Sean Connery line. There are many things here that react poorly to bullets.
Yeah, there's that problem as well. But that's presuming you actually, get petroleum on this thing at the moment. Yes.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, I should say, yes, you're carrying your own fuel. Please do not set fire to the oil rig while you're carrying all that diesel fuel for running your power plant and whatnot. But anyways, moving along. It is around 1:00 in the afternoon, and you've had your lunch. You're working your shifts. Everybody's doing their thing. When I guess I guess, let's see here, Mr. Campbell Ryan Campbell will be the first guy to notice this, I think. There will be a combination of this, actually, not just Campbell, but also not Dr. Trask, keep going to say Dr. Trask, that's not right. But Trask, the geologist, will sort of have spotted this. And even, I guess the one person who's left out is the good Dr. Townsend, because you're going to be, either in the clinic, going, looking over the last guy who broke a finger or something.
Townsend's eating a pizza right now. It's all good.
Yeah, it's all good. But for those of you on the bridge, like Hudson, there's going to be alarms that go off. They start off in the drill shack, which is a building right in front of the drill head, which is essentially this. The drill head is basically that thing you always see in footage of a derrick, where they are bringing in with a crane a new piece of pipe that they then attached. They set into the end of the one pipe. They use the chain to sort of hold the first pipe, and they turn. They have this big table in the floor that turns. And that spins the pipe, which then screws the next section of pipe into it, pulls it down into the threads. And then they release that down and lower it, using the cranes, and they put the next piece on. Well, starting with the Trask and the drilling control shed, and starting with Campbell, who's actually monitoring the pressure of the mud inside the pipe, there is suddenly a massive and sudden drop in the pressure of the mud inside the pipe. I mean, it is catastrophic.
Do I have a shutdown button?
Well, certainly
you have a kill switch.
You certainly have a switch to make sure that no more leaves the pipe. But my understanding is that what's in the pipe is on its way out. You can try and pump it up, but there's something that is pulling it. It is losing pressure. I guess turning the pumps in reverse and trying to pull up the mud so that it doesn't flow out, continue to flow out. If you did nothing, the whole thing would be lost. You're going to lose some, but by turning the pumps on, you'll be able to save a large percentage.
Well, I will do that, and then I will try and contact Trask or whoever can stop the drill, because without the mud, we're not lubricated, and if we keep it running, it's just...
Go ahead and make a heavy machinery roll, please, because this is the roll. This is the game that Ross has been waiting for his whole life. This is the heavy machinery game.
I wish you all could see his face right now.
As soon as I saw I had heavy machinery, I was like, oh, it's a heavy machinery game.
Yep.
Yay!
Oh, man. I am off to a great start. 98? Does that do it?
That is not a success. Fortunately, it is not a 99, which would be a fumble. This game isn't Call of Cthulhu, so 99 is just fine. 98 is just fine. 99 and double lot would have been terrible. As it is, you do your job badly.
We weren't expecting it. It happens. He was surprised. It happens.
All right. So regardless, you start pumping the rest of the mud back into the tanks. Trask is over there, and obviously you're there with Stanton, who's the company man, who's all filled with. I mean, he's not incompetent. He doesn't stand around saying what is happening. He's there and he's ordering them to shut the drill down. You recover some. Doesn't work out great. Obviously, it's coming out of your paycheck, but, not if you keep your mouth shut. Just one more thing they can stack on this is reasons why you should not mention that they're not drilling in their proper spot in the lease. Perhaps you're able to observe a couple things that go on in the drilling shed. On the command deck, and I'm going to sort of point out that the platform, and I'm sorry I can't get you a great map, but I've found some maps, but they're all terrible, is what I've found. I'm going to have to compile something from multiple maps in order to make up my own. But basically what you've got is two main layers, like 2 or 3 layers of this platform. And the thing that we think of as the sort of the control room for the rig platform, for moving the platform around, for being aware of the environment, that is actually this big room that is put underneath the helipad. So helipad's on top of the control room. You go down the stairs, you come into the control. control room is where all the navigation equipment, the radar, the radio, things like that are. Ballast control, stuff like that, fire suppression. The drilling shed is a separate control area for running the drilling section, and it's right there at the drill head, and the pipes then go down through the rig, through the different layers, and through what they call basically the moon pool, which is a big rectangular area above the water that just looks right down into the ocean. That area is, it's got railing around it. It has not been pre-greased with monkey grease for, delightful physical comedy incidents where you fall off the rig into the moon pool. But it's not impossible if you really work at it. There are some cargo elevators on this thing, but getting around is mostly a matter of stairs. And basically, it may seem strange, but all the drilling platform and the motors and the engines, things that work the drilling equipment, the generators that make the power go, those are really all up on top. The machinery is all up on top. The crew quarters are actually at the bottom, and the reason for that is that's where the lifeboats are, because they're closest to the water. And the crew quarters are, of course, basically right next to the lifeboats. There's two different sides of that thing, and two different sides of the ship have 3 lifeboats each. And these are Arctic lifeboats, which are basically completely covered. They're just these big orange, easy to see in the dark tubes that hold something like 30 people each. So there's room to spare on the lifeboats. No, Fost Oil did not send you out with one lifeboat because they're cheap. And so that didn't happen. In any case, Trask, you're able to see that, see them talking, and as they're describing and you're looking at the controls in front of you. What's your geology skill?
72.
All right, you don't even have to make a roll because this is, again, Delta Green. You're able to tell that what they've hit is literally a cave. They just punched through into a pocket that isn't filled with water. Because if it was filled with water, yes, the mud would absolutely leak out. And when you're drilling and you hit water, or at least very wet earth, there's a whole process of pumping cement, also kept on the ship, also kept in a liquid form, pumping it into the well shaft and then drilling a hole through the hard cement, and then pumping more and then drilling through the hard hole. It's this very strange process. They use something called a shoe that is able to fill part of it with cement, and then you drill through the cement you've laid so you can create a barrier against the wet moisture with the wet environment. Hitting a cave is a different matter because, first of all, there's how do I put this? There's no way to cement it unless you'd have to figure out how big it is. And that's going to be difficult with the instrumentation you have in the drill head. I mean, it's got all kinds of instrumentation. It'll tell you, its depth. It'll tell you its rate of movement. It'll tell you its temperature, all kinds of good stuff. But it is not the sort of thing that is hooked up with cameras. Now, you can put cameras on the end of and send them down. That is not impossible, but it's going to take some time to make that happen. So, what you're thinking is, what you're seeing here is they must have hit not only a cave, but a cave that, at least until we punched a hole in it, didn't have water in it. Water may be filling that cave up as we speak. If that happens, we should be able to wait, let the cave fill with water, and then just proceed through, since there won't be anything in the way of the bit, until we get to the bottom of the cave, and then keep going. All right? So that's what, that seems like what is happening here. You've hit a genuine air pocket. And ultimately, depending on how much panicking goes on here, it takes minutes for the bubbles to get to the surface. But at some point, there's bubbles coming up. Not, directly under the rig, because again, as I said, you were slant drilling. But there's a point where people on the outside, on the deck can look out with a pair of binoculars and say, oh, look over there. There's some sort of fumes coming up. Now, what kind of gas this is? I mean, it's gas. Is it oxygen nitrogen mix, or is it pure methane? Nobody knows at this point. Does anybody want to suggest anything before I have some NPCs make their own suggestions? Possibly ones who outrank you. It will make you go do foolish things.
Can I calculate how much mud I had in the line before it went pop?
Yes, you can. You'll be able
that'll
to
give me like a minimum of like, if it was all heading down the hole, I know the cave is at least this many cubic something big.
Sure. You pull your stuff back up. You pull the mud back up, and you actually get more than you thought you were going to get back. Based on how fast you're able to react and how fast the equipment was able to react, you failed, but you didn't, like I said, didn't fumble. But you're surprised that you got at least 60% of the line back. This is not something you've ever run into before. This just isn't. It's kind of beyond. Like I said, it's not something that anyone would have expected. It is outside the experience of Trask. It is outside the experience of Campbell. We're both geologists. Now, the OIM, Mr. Dodge, he's going to go and bother poor old Mr. Tassoni and say, guess what? You're the one who knows how to drive a small boat. Congratulations. You and the coxswains are going to go out, and I want you to fire a flare into the cloud of vapors that are coming out from under the ocean and see if it's flammable.
Okay, but if it is, we have a big, explosion. How? By the way, how far off the coast are we? I assume we're out of sight of the coast, but
no.
Oh, we're in sight?
Yes.
So
now, mind you, the coast is a glacier. I mean, the coast is a
nobody's watching
glacier.
us from the coast.
Yeah. They're you're fresh out of maybe some polar bears, but it is maybe some seals on the beach. But yeah, it's just a white, tapestry of white.
You don't think a big explosion off the coast of Greenland is going to draw any attention?
Well, all right, maybe all, but we need to know we need to know what it is. So here's what we'll do.
Yeah.
Here's all right, you shoot down that idea. He moves on to idea number 2. Put on some of the firefighting equipment.
Sure.
Which is the rebreathers that have their own oxygen supplies. And they're all over the rig. Go out there and we'll equip the launch with a bunch of things like there are methane detectors, there are gas detectors. I mean, they have those on this thing in order to, if there is. Now, normally you can detect that there's gas coming up through a pipe because, they have that whole anti-blowout devices that we have on that works so well on Gulf 140. But it's a question of just measuring the back pressure coming out of the pipe. But, and when you're actually in pumping oil like Gulf 140 was, they weren't a drilling platform. They were an extraction. You know what kind of gas you're going to get because you're pulling up hydrocarbons. You're going to get hydrocarbon gas. No idea what this gas is. But if you suit up in firefighting gear, you have your own isolated supply.
All right, sure.
We can send you out there to collect samples.
Okay, sure. We'll do our best.
All right, great. You seem confident. It's going to be fine.
Yeah.
All right. So, Mr. Tassoni, how's your pilot small craft?
Let's find out. Piloting.
It might not be the best, but that's okay.
Pilot small craft, 61.
Okay, that's pretty good. Unless you are being chased by pirates, we won't make you make any rolls.
Great.
Or tentacles or whatever comes boiling up out of the sea here. But yeah, hypothetically. But yeah, let's go ahead and get you out there. And basically, they're kind of at this point they're kind of ad hocing it because this is not this is not something they were really scheduled to do. There are people on the ship who can run chemistry tests on stuff, but this kind of their facilities are limited. So what they want you to do is literally go out there into the suit up like you're going to be fighting a fire in case there's anything caustic. Suit up with the oxygen equipment. Literally, there's nothing else to take an air sample in than an upside down jar held over the bubbling water that you then screw the cap on. I mean, that's literally it. This is not like this. Nobody brought a tricorder.
Yeah,
is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They could take I suppose you could do the same thing with a plastic bag, but who wants to take that chance? Now it's bubbling up. So it's whatever it is, it's lighter than air, or at least it's lighter than water, I should say.
Right. Yeah. On the way up, like any piles of dead fish rising up or floating.
No, you don't. You do not. You don't see any. And you're from on top of the rig, you're glassing the spot, and it's only like a couple hundred yards away, or maybe half a kilometer away. It's a spot where the drill bit actually hits into the bottom of the ocean bed. Shouldn't really call it the ocean bed because it's not that far from shore. I'm sure there's a much more technical term for that, area before you actually get into the ocean bed. It's a liminal space, I'm sure. In any case, no, you're not seeing animals or fish. That would be your first bit. And the thing about these waters is that they are, in fact, teeming with life. I mean, the Arctic oceans are incredibly full of things you can eat and who eat each other.
I mean, that's encouraging. It's not, so toxic that it's going to fucking kill fish instantly as it passes through.
Yeah. Now, mind you, there's a couple other ways you can try this, presuming it's they're looking at it through binoculars. It doesn't seem to be causing like a cloud. Whatever is leaving the water is as transparent as the air. Now, if it was warmer below, the water cooled it on the way up.
Oh, yeah.
So if it was from a warmer space, you wouldn't be getting steam after having gone up through that much cold Arctic water. But it's not causing a fog. It's not, so far it hasn't knocked any, birds out of the sky, although those are relatively limited. There are all kinds of Arctic birds, they're just not here. But the only other possibilities I would suggest is if you want to try and rig up some sort of boom, so you can.
I was thinking that, I don't want to get the boat right over it if we can.
Well, go ahead. Let's see here.
Do you want to put your boat in like an argon sheath and go plummeting to the bottom of the Baffin Bay like Godzilla? Weird.
I do have welding.
Well, there you go. Let's go and all right. Give me a roll on welding and see if you can come up with some thing that you can weld to the end of a boom that you can use to one at a time, hopefully, scoop up this nonsense.
17 under 41. So yeah.
All right, you do a pretty good job coming up with something so you can be a little further away. You won't be on top of the bubbles, yes, which would be bad anyways because. As I understand it, you don't want to. Yeah, you don't actually want to be on top of a.
Just waft it.
Well, no, that's not it. It destroys the surface tension, and your boat will fall into it because it's air. My understanding is that if you are over something that's bubbling, your ship will drop down into the nonsense. So it's bad. So, anyways, you drive over there. You're able to drive over there just fine. You've got the two. I believe it's the two coxswain mates who are the guys who are in charge of the. Let's see here. The two coxswains, Haskins and Peterson, who are in charge of driving the boat out there, and you get to make a dex roll and see how well you do collecting samples of this nonsense.
Oh, I got a good dex. So. Yeah, 19 under 65.
Okay. All right. You manage to, you hope, take some samples of this stuff, and it continues to bubble away while you're there. Now, you get back to the ship. You get back to the platform, and let's see here. Who has some chemistry rolls around here? I think Trask does.
Yes, I do. I see that now. Yes. 35 is my chemistry.
All right, let's see if anybody else is better than 35. And check some NPCs. There's also another geologist on the boat.
Would know Trask, right? Like by now, we would have talked
Yes.
geology.
Everybody would have, yes, absolutely.
Slightly resentful. She's one higher than me in geology.
Oh, she's one higher.
I think I'm a lot higher, but it's fine if you want to pretend that it's just
72
one.
to 71.
You're
It's
just
only-
a lowly mud man.
It's only lunchtime. Wait till after dinner, then she'll be much higher than you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I would want to get in on this because I would be like, Trask, hey, could I talk to you about what's going on? Maybe down at the drill head?
Oh yeah. Well, the drill
Sure.
head's been the company man has shut down the drill head, and if I understand this correctly, the actual head for cutting goes inside the drill and comes out through the drill, so they can pull that right up.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so they pull up the drill.
Get a camera.
And I don't believe so. I might be wrong, but about 2020 technology. But my understanding is that the heat and the pressure involved mean that cameras are not a thing. Now, on the other hand, you can slot on the same cable that's drawing the drill head out. You can put something on that would be a camera. And has camera and lights, because you could even go and look at the bottom of the seafloor with this thing. So that operation will start up to see, can we get any idea how big this problem we've just
I'm
gotten
mainly
into.
trying to get a sample of spoil and get it with Trask.
That's going to come up with the best shot at a sample of spoil is going to come up with the drill head, because the first stuff that got lost was the stuff that
went straight through.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting on that to come up before I can.
Yes.
Because I would like to because like as a geologist that's not really working as a geologist, my main concern would be like, okay, well, the pocket we're going to have to say we hit was in a silt deposit directly beneath us that should have collapsed instantly due to ocean pressure. However,
Really
the pocket we actually hit is a couple miles that away on land, kilometers down. What's over there? I don't know. I'm going to be concerned talking with my other geologist who knows what's actually going on.
As in, are you trying to get your story straight for the?
I am absolutely trying to get my story straight before I go to the OIM. Is like, well, not that we're doing anything heinously illegal here that I know about, but theoretically, this massive cave that can't exist on the ocean's floor. If it was, say, to exist in the fluvial runoff on land, here's what it might be.
Excellent. All right.
I'm under the impression, and I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I assume that the OIM kind of knows what we're doing too. Like,
yes.
So does it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
well, he can see where he parked. He can see where he parked the fucking rig.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I just wanted to make sure.
A mystery. It's not a.
I wanted to make sure we could describe the problem in real terms and didn't have to.
Okay, you're not going to have to.
Yeah.
You can talk around it. Everybody is here in the crime scene criming. Okay.
All right, good.
Good.
There may be certain people like Stanton who doesn't want you to talk about the crime out loud, as if that will help, but it doesn't help.
All right.
Okay.
Sure.
Fair enough.
Sure.
All right. So, Tassoni, I'm going to have you zip back to the ship, and let's see here. What has Dr. Townsend got in chemistry? Any chemistry in her background?
I'm a biologist.
Oh,
as far as
dang it.
Background goes. I could add chemistry.
No, that's unfortunate. All right. Well, let me.
I bet you have pharmacy.
I throw another NPC at the problem. Take it to one of the petrochemical engineers, who's like, well, okay, let's do they have a lab on this thing for analyzing what's brought up from the bottom, not just the geology, analyzing the spoil, but analyzing what is actually pulled out of the depths that might or may not be petrochemicals or hydrocarbons. So they'll fiddle around with it, and they say they'll get back to you as soon as they know. And you are off the hook for the moment. Now, the other two of you, Trask and Campbell, you guys are going to head up to the. How do you want to handle this thing? Where you want to get some of the spoil first? You want to go talk to the boss first? What do you want to do here?
I'd like to get the spoil and be able to answer
Sure.
what statistically unlikely thing happened before they blame me.
You
for
have
moving on the mud. Yeah.
Then
Okay.
you have to go to the wellhead, which is a place you're authorized to be, and be.
I will
there
invite
when
Trask to join me in this
absolutely.
responsibility. Endeavor.
The cool part is that literally there's that giant crazy floor with the big spinning floor piece that screws on and off. There's that right there, and a big open to the sky, so giant multi-ton, cranes can reach down with those giant, hooks and various other things to pick up pipe and lift it out and lift it back in. And the control room is just right there. It's just this glassed-in area looking right out at that with all the stuff that reads off.
So Trask just giving me a thumbs up from the.
Yeah, basically. All she has to do is open a door, and hopefully the well-insulated, non-drafty door, and step out onto that cold deck with you. That's not a problem. So, and I am presuming this vessel has desalination gear on board because everyone's sweating like, they're in a sauna in their horrible Arctic gear. And I can only imagine what it's like when you unzip that shit at the end of the day. It's probably pretty ripe, and showering is sort of the kind of thing you have to do to prevent people from punching you eventually. So, yeah. Like, the food's good. I will also point out that the food on these things has a reputation of being really good, because that's another way to stop people from having a riot, is to feed them well. Classically, that's where your mutinies come from in the military or prison riots, is bad food. So yeah, the food's really good here. And so anyways, you guys can step out onto the platform and see the actual drill bit as it is brought up to the surface. My understanding of this thing is, again, I'm not quite sure how this works. My understanding is that they literally turning the pipe. So I'm not quite sure how this thing is powered. I'm presuming it's an electric cord that literally goes up to the top of the ship and it's run electrically. It's not steam powered or diesel or whatever. They pulled this thing out right off the bat. Both of you are like, well, that's not right. And the drill head, I don't know, have any of you ever seen what these things look like? They're like a trio of, we've all seen fucking like Total Recall. Right?
Yeah, it's a Total Recall.
With the guy chasing Arnold around with the drill thing. It's like that, except it's like obviously smaller. It's like three of them, and they're all positioned in three sections to sort of drill in they're turning those heads in a certain way to pull earth into it and force it up the pipe. Okay?
Yeah.
So, in any case, this thing is brought back up, and it looks like it has, for your first thought is like, oh, that looks like petroleum. It comes up and it's black and shiny and dripping. Long, snotty, mucousy strands hanging off of it, brought back up.
That doesn't make any sense.
Black blood of the earth. Smells.
Okay.
You can smell it. It doesn't smell like petroleum. It smells like. It smells sour. It smells acidic. I say acidic as in like bases versus acids, not caustic. It doesn't smell.
Yeah.
It smells acidic, and it has that stinging, vinegar, sort of acidy, citrusy, feel to it.
And I know you said it's not acidically caustic, but upon investigation, like, it doesn't look like it's affecting the drill head in any way.
It doesn't look like it's, you're not seeing it bubble and pop or steam or react to the steel or the titanium or whatever it is that's used in drill bits. It's probably some type of titanium. But, it's not reacting to the metals. And certainly when this thing's pulled out of the hole, they're pulling it out. And when it comes out of the hole, it doesn't, it swings a little bit as it comes out from the energy of pulling up. It swings a little bit. And normally what would happen is one of the roughnecks would step forward, put the hand on it and, slow it down. They'd lower it to the deck, but nobody wants to touch it. Everyone goes, whoa, what's that? Because we weren't supposed to be drilling. And besides, if we were in petrochemicals, it'd be shooting up through the hole right now from all the pressure. It'd be blowing up the pipe from all the gas, because gas and oil tend to live in the same spots, and it pushes that's why we have geysers. This stuff wasn't coming up under pressure. But nobody is immediately thrilled with the idea of putting their glove on it. How would you like to poke it?
Is there like a fire suit or something down there I could put on? Like something that would keep it from getting on my skin? Like,
oh, sure. There's any number of incredibly heavy-duty work gloves and such that you could put on. Hell, if you want to, you could probably put a work glove on the end of a stick and some sort of, tool and poke it with that if you wanted to. You want to be extra careful.
Well, I will put on work gloves, and I will take a big ass wrench or something and put like can I get like a flask or something from the lab, like some sort of
somebody's gonna have to run off and get that, and and that's not gonna take forever. But you're sitting there watching it drip on the deck and sort of drip through. And again, what's directly?
Shit, is there a Coke can? I'll fucking run the faucet in that, dump it out, and
you can throw a hard hat under it.
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah,
okay.
I will try and collect some of it by putting
as it's running through
some sort of bowl underneath it. Yeah.
All right. It gets in the hard hat. It does not proceed to bubble and eat its way through the plastic hard hat. Kevlar. What are they making hard hats out of these days? I presume it's something serious now. As opposed to just like, it's plastic on your head. That never seems really safe to me. Is it better than that or not?
Depends if you're just there for a tour or not.
There's grades.
Okay. For the tourists, they give them the plastic, I'm a truck driver hat. And then, okay, cool, got it. I'll remember that. Next time I'm touring a chemical
plant. OSHA in Baffin Bay in a legal mining operation.
Hey, this thing's flagged in Panama. They don't have OSHA. You're fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, you really are flagged in Panama. Anyways, you managed to collect some of this junk. There's not a lot of it. I mean, you end up with putting the helmet under it. You collect, say, a pint of this stuff in the bowl they have. Most of it ends up going into some of it ends up on the floor, up on the
grating,
yeah. But some of it's also on the deck, but beyond that, eventually you're gonna be able to collect this stuff and take it down into the lab and get it analyzed or get it looked at.
It's all you, Trask.
Enjoy.
Right. Yeah, love this.
I told you I
gift.
don't have a chemistry background for this. I don't.
And this is why I'm above you, and just kind of like.
Say that like not insulting. Yep.
Well, you two get down to the one lab this place has, and down there you find let's see, I think the guy's name is Cardoza.
God, fucking Cardoza. Passes gas every time at the lunch. I know it's him. He's the one.
It's Acosta. Sorry, Oscar Acosta. He's your petrochemical. Yeah, he's down there, using whatever gear that they've got to try and get a read on this sample that was brought up. He quickly determines things like, well, he's determined that it's not flammable. That it does, by holding these things upside down and like putting in various basically it's the kind of thing where it's, piece of cardboard, it's got some chemicals on it, it reacts in the presence of whatever gas, and detects it. About the time you're getting in there to with your hat full of snot, he's like, yeah, this is air. This appears to be oxygen, nitrogen, air. So yeah.
Okay. All right.
It just seems to be air coming up.
Huh.
Yeah. It's still bubbling, by the way. You're just looking out there. Still going.
Big fucking cave. How long has it been? Like an hour?
Yeah, maybe 2.
Damn. Like,
now, mind you, the amount of water that's coming in is not the girth of the pipe. It's just the edges around the pipe that's coming in.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, it's not quite, this pipe is like, I don't know.
But the bubbles are big enough we can see it for a couple hundred yards away from the oil rig. So there's a fair amount of gas coming out.
Well, you knew where to look.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it wasn't like you didn't know where the pipe hit the ocean floor. So there was that going for you. Okay. And with a little bit of current causing the bubbles to drift one way or another, it wasn't hard to spot. But it might have been tough. It would have been tougher if you didn't know where to look. It would have been an actual, awareness roll. Yeah, Acosta's like, what is the snot? Why do you have a helmet full of? He's like, first of all, okay, it's not oil. I can tell from over here. The petrochemical engineer says, yep, that's not oil. Dollars to donuts. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not oil.
It's what came up off the drill head.
All right, so you guys are all right, let's go ahead and make your chemistry roll, see if you can figure out what this horrible shit is.
Ooh, 97. I definitely don't. You know what it is? I'm really susceptible to, the smell. It's a little overpowering, and it's making it hard to focus to try and figure out what this is.
You have no idea. You're going to keep working on it, but at this point, again, unlike Call of Cthulhu, high fails don't matter in this game. They just don't. So that is like, if you have a skill of 35 in chemistry?
36, yeah.
36. Okay, if you're to 37.
Or 35, yeah.
This is the same result as having rolled a 37. So don't think that because it was a 97, unless it's doubles, it does not mean terrible things. But you do not know. You're not able to get a handle on it. Caleb, do you wish to poke the slime?
I don't know what my slime poking expertise would be there. I'm very high in geology, but if it's not oil, it seems a little bit outside my ballywick.
Well, one thing you could do is, certainly you go back to the mud tanks and sort of start separating the mud from the spoil that is already down there.
Yeah, I'm fine. I can do that. Yeah, whatever's going to get me more information about what we found, but I don't think me poking that.
Whatever's going to get you more what?
More information about whatever the hell we found. Just
cool.
But I don't think I'm going to get more out of the snot hat with my rock study. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Oh, ye of little faith.
Has anyone looked at this under a microscope yet?
That sounds like a job for the medical doctor. I think we should.
Yeah, let's call the medic up here. Well, maybe I think
Dr. Beth Townsend has.
Is he?
Calling Dr. Townsend, put your pizza down and get on the work. Get to work.
God damn it. Goddamn God.
Fortunately, Dr. Townsend has an incredible bedside manner.
Oh, yeah, call me. Fuck do you want?
Your charisma's not that low. It's low.
Eight's pretty goddamn low.
That is pretty low.
Eight is awkward. Eight is not toxic. It is, when you gotta get to three and fours when you answer every phone call.
They can make it toxic.
The fuck you want? Okay, fine.
Okay, hold up. Because does that mean IRL my charisma is really low? Because that's pretty much how I answer most correspondence.
Yes, and I'm sorry you had to find out this way.
No. Man, that's why my mom never wants to talk to me. She always calls. I'm like, "Fuck do you want?"
Look, charisma was not your dump stat, all right? It was, or maybe it's the other way around. I can't.
No, charisma was his dump stat.
No,
I used to think I was incredibly charismatic, but unfortunately not, I guess.
I'm on the phone. Doc, can you come up here and tell us if this shit's going to kill us? I've been breathing it in for the last 3 minutes. So I'd really like some fucking
Don't you
peace
guys?
of mind here.
My job's more suited for when it is killing you already. You want me to do a
Would you go
checkup?
check if that's happening then?
How do you feel?
Not great, I'll be honest. It's been a bad day.
Is it a mental boo boo or a physical boo boo? What do you need?
It's gonna be a financial boo boo.
I think that I will actually steal that line. It's going to be a financial boo boo if we can't get this fucking drill running again. So if you could get up here so we could all get fucking paid for this, that would be great.
I'm already getting paid, but I guess I will make my way to wherever the fucking this maze of a platform he
It's
is.
like across the hall from the goddamn
So
from
far
your,
away.
from your clinic. Okay, it's like
I'll pretend to be winded by the time I get there. I'm like, hey, I'm here.
I will ask. Well, we have samples prepared, right? Because we already
Mhm.
tried chemistry, right?
Yeah.
So get to it, Doc. I got to go look.
Get to what? I'm a surgeon.
We don't know what this is. It's not
Okay,
oil.
would you like me to operate on it? What exactly?
Didn't you study biology?
Is it an organic compound? Can you tell us that?
Maybe.
All right. You do that.
I'm
going to go look at mud.
Right, do they have like a sample cup of it or something, or some sort of vial?
Yes, I am presuming by this point Campbell has managed to decant the snot into some Erlenmeyer flasks that he has stuck.
Okay.
Oh, I want to be clear. Campbell did not do that.
Trask
person with the
definitely did that, though.
3-year-old did that.
Yes.
All right.
Campbell has pushed a helmet with a wrench and then taken it to
And then handed me the helmet and said,
handed
"Do
the
something
helmet
with
to other
it."
people, and then called a third person to also do it instead of me.
It's almost
So
like you've played Delta Green before.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm going down to my machines that I have a 71 in the skill in, and I'm looking at those. This
Yeah.
is
Yeah, you know the
Marcus,
hatch.
the birds.
You know the hatch that they used to load the mud tank with mud. It's open,
great. All right. Well,
and there's
Important
mud.
question: should
There's
it be?
mud. There's mud all over the deck. Make an awareness roll.
alertness. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it awareness or alertness? I guess
It's
it's
alertness. Yeah. I make it 37 under 75.
You see, walking away from this spot, little tiny little footprints. I should say little tiny. They're like, I don't know, size 5 women's feet size. You know, it's they're not quite childlike, but they're small feet. It's being tracked in the mud.
I'm 5'10". Those aren't my feet. Just FYI.
I know. I
And-
left
and
you
Campbell
in the lab.
would know that.
I know.
I'm just saying, in case that crossed your mind, not it.
I am going to reclose that hatch, put something real heavy on top of it, and
Or-
maybe some zip ties.
You can dog the hatch. You can
Okay.
literally dog the hatch. Yes.
And then I'm going to run towards the security in the control booth because I would like to see all of the cameras we no doubt have in this $1 million facility because I really want to know what got out of that before I go chasing after it. So, yeah, I'm
Sure.
going to run up to the control and ask them to start rolling tape back on my station.
All right. Well, the good news is that, yes, there are cameras all over the place. The bad news is that there are not cameras everywhere, but there are plenty. You get up to the bridge. You announce this to Dodge, the OIM, and Mr. Hudson up here on the bridge, and let them know that something untoward seems to have happened with the mud. I mean, they're going to need some. Do you catch them up?
While I was gathering the sample,
Mm-hmm.
someone has tampered with the mud station, and I need to see who it was. Can I review the tapes? All they're getting. I am not, as a drug addict, going to my boss and saying there's a tiny-footed elf that came from the bottom of the sea.
You have figured out this. You have figured out this character arc. You have figured out the character arc I set up. All right, good.
Yeah.
You're going to see all the shit. That's what's going to happen. The former drug addict is going to see everything every time and just have to come back and say, okay, this time I mean it. It really was. All right. You start looking around.
I'll have to scrub the tape of wherever the camera was at if it wasn't on my station, just because. But I at least know where direction it headed, right?
Yeah,
I saw the footprints. All right.
Yeah. All right. So you start farting around with this thing, and the first problem is that as you're looking around, you come up with how do I put this? You start seeing footage of a naked lady, about 5 foot, maybe something like that, long black hair, like a mess. Black hair is a mess. I mean, it's dirty and tangled. Goes down almost past her waist. You just see her like cross in front of a camera.
Naked? Are there clothes or?
Not that you spotted. Not that you spotted. It sure looked like a naked person.
So this is the control booth, right?
Yeah.
The pilot up there?
Yep, I'm here.
I roll Hudson's chair over to my station and say, "What do you see?" Yeah.
What do I see? What's the skin complexion of this individual? Does it look like a local?
It looks
like
it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell skin complexion because she appears to be just covered in like dark dirt. She's really filthy.
I'm pointing over. You see that shit? Tell me what you see there, Hudson.
I'm seeing a very dirty black-haired woman.
Fuck yes, you are. All right, you got to tell the OIM that.
Well,
we got some sort of intruder on the fucking platform.
You get Dodge's attention. It doesn't take much to get his attention. Seeing that, they immediately, hit an alarm, and they go ahead and make an announcement over the intercom system, saying, attention crew, be on the lookout for a stowaway. They were last seen near the mud tanks. Description, female, 5 foot, whatever, black hair. He leaves off the naked part. He just says, I'm going to leave it at that.
I just like to imagine me and Hudson's face as he's just trying to come up with the announcement on the mic.
Yeah,
he looks like yeah.
He does his best. You have anything you want to suggest, like, tell them it's a sea elf. I don't know what you want to, tell them it's a naiad. It's a mermaid. She's just, if she sings, don't follow her into the sea.
Or into the mud.
Yeah, or into the mud. I will note that she doesn't look like she's covered in the kind of stuff that comes out of the mud tanks at all when you see her. That's just the first time you spotted her, because as you're going through various cameras in the place, you get to your station's feed and you can see her, at a distance from what it's open up. The tank is between her and the camera, and she opens up the tank for a period of time and looks down and then closes it.
So she doesn't come from the tank.
No, she goes to the tank, opens it up, and there's hesitation when she gets to the tank. She gets there and she's like, and tries a couple of things until she gets to the hatch to release. And then she walks off, exits, going away from the camera.
Where did she approach from? Because it sounded like she came from the mud tank, but apparently she did not.
No, she came from, I guess, the best way to describe it would be to say that she came, if from your perspective, Mr. Campbell, or Caleb, he's going to be Caleb Campbell for the rest of the game.
Got it.
From your perspective, it looks like she was coming sort of from the direction of the drilling deck, although the drilling deck is a floor up.
Okay.
I mean, it's that direction, the moon pool. I guess I would say on your deck it's the moon pool. That looks like the direction she was coming from.
And I assume this was the time period where I was in the lab trying to get Townsend off her dead ass and to do her job. All
right. By the way, Townsend, while we're you speak the devil's name and you shall appear, you are in fact able to analyze this stuff. Sort of. It's organic. It's not chemical. It's some sort of organic material. Would you care to make a biology roll? I'll tell you it's organic.
Yeah.
Let me know how you do.
10 out of 48.
Okay. Like I said, this appears to be some sort of chain of proteins. It's not alive. It's like some sort of secretion. It most closely resembles the kind of mucus that lines the interior of the human GI and, sinus cavities. I mean, it's all the same secretion, basically, no matter how much we romance one type or secretion over another. But that's what it feels like. It's kind of like something you might find inside the stomach.
Ah.
Like kind of, but it's also not.
Like are you talking like the mucous membrane of like the stomach or
the intestines or the colon or the.
I don't know what I heard the other ones speak about it or say about it, but
Caleb was in a panic and really just didn't do it. I mean, Trask is there and can actually tell you where it came from.
Well,
hearing you say, this is like some shit you'd find lining a wall of a stomach, and you guys drilled down into something, that's probably...
Oh, I haven't said that shit yet. I haven't told no one that shit yet. That's all in my head right now.
Keep the clues to yourself.
Am I getting the same acrid aroma that the others were?
Yeah.
I'll do pH tests on it to see, like, is it low or is it high? What is it?
My understanding is what bases are low, acids are high, or is it the other way around?
I forgot off. I can't believe I can't.
Acids have a low pH, bases have a high pH.
Yeah. That's what I thought. It's got a very high pH.
So it's a base.
I'm sorry,
low.
Other way around.
Low pH.
I should make it be a base that smells like an acid, but I'm not going to do that to you.
Yeah, the sandy hits will come soon enough.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and just say that yes, it has a very low pH, and so yes, it is an acid.
Are we talking dangerous to come in contact with?
Don't drink it.
Don't drink it.
Well, here's the thing. The smell of this stuff is getting less and less. You're smelling it less and less. And go ahead and make me an awareness roll while you're working in here.
Yeah. 38 out of 60.
Trask, did you decant the hat into, I don't know, beakers or Erlenmeyer flasks or something?
Yeah, I would have separated it into various instruments so it could be tested in a variety of ways. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So, Dr. Townsend, the sample you were working on, you put it, you had it in a beaker and you weighed it and whatever, and it weighed however many grams, and it doesn't weigh that many grams anymore.
Less or more?
Less.
It's either breaking down and or dissolving or something, or evaporating. What if I'm gonna place it in an airtight container and see if the same thing happens over a period of time, if it will still lose its base weight
Yeah, that's exactly what happens.
Okay, so even an airtight without the ability to evaporate out, it's still losing its mass.
Mm-hmm. Does is the amount changing, or it physically appears the same, but it's just weighing less, or is it? Actually
the gradiated sides of the Erlenmeyer flask or the beaker or whatever, you can see that it is lower than you put it in. I mean, there's a little bit of it sticking to the spot where it first came in, where it first leveled off, and as it went down, kind of created that, because it's viscous, clings to the side of the glass a little bit. But so you can see that there's some clean to that, but it's gone down since when you poured it in. It was, sort of flat across the top, maybe even, dimpled a little bit, because it has such viscosity. But it has slowly gone from like this to like this to like this.
What is what is happening with the hat? Like the inside of the hat.
There's okay, go ahead and make me an idea roll. Intelligence times 5.
That is a 19 under 80.
You're sure that there's less dew on the hat than when you decanted it. There's less.
Okay. Cool. Great. I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's fine with it evaporating here in the room, filling this small room with the two of you, turning into a gas. That's going to be great.
We have all manner of sensors to keep track of air quality and stuff in this room. Can I check readouts and see if the air inside is changing in any way?
The sensors that are in here, of course, about, the kind of things that would turn up in this kind of laboratory testing for petrochemicals. But you have some sensors, you have some things you can use, and nothing is coming back saying that there's a change in the air quality.
I would have assumed, I didn't say this before, and you can tell me no if not, but I would have assumed if I was bringing in some sample they had drilled up that they wanted me for some whatever reason to test, I would have thrown a respirator on.
Sure.
Respirator. Great.
I presume before you touch something chemical or organic, you would have at least masked up.
Yeah.
And gloved up and put on some PPE while you're doing it, called personal protection equipment. But that was before it went from being a solid to a gas. Now, or at least it might be going from a solid to a gas. Now might be the time to either close and lock the door of the room, step out, or
I'll throw a respirator on, like a full face.
It's not hard to get there. Like I said, there's firefighting equipment all over this fucking place. So,
how's the petrochemical engineer taking that news as he's working at his station?
Yeah, I don't know. Do you guys tell him after he says, after his response was like, well, it's organic. It's not a chemical. That's what he came down to. I mean, he passed it away and he determined that there was air in the samples that Ross's character brought back, that Tassoni brought back, and then he's like, okay, I guess I'm done here. I'll go back to watching you guys work. I mean, he's looking over your shoulders. The question is let me see if he's noticed the things that you're noticing. Not with a 92. He hasn't noticed the things you've noticed yet, that, grams of this stuff is vaporized. And
yeah, I'm not telling anyone.
No, not quite. Not until we know. Spreading panic aboard this vessel is not ideal. I do have one more thing that I'd like to try. We obviously have microscopes aboard. I would like to take a dropper of the liquid and get it underneath the microscope and kind of watch it for a period of time and try and figure out what is happening. If this is a thing where it's breaking down and potentially just evaporating, or, if maybe there's something definitely weirder going on, but why would I think that? Because I have no idea what's going on.
Meanwhile, I want to contact Campbell in a corner somewhere away from the other.
He's gone. Campbell's run off in another direction. You don't know where he is.
Yeah, can I get him on some sort of comms, some sort of radio, something?
Well, all the cell phones are bullshit out here.
Right, but what about on rigs comms or something? But
there's probably everything, walkie-talkies on everybody. Let's just not worry about that.
Yeah.
I'm sure there may be a ranking about who gets to have a walkie-talkie and who doesn't on the rig, but there is open comms channels, and there, you can say open comms and say, tell Campbell to call you on channel 6 or whatever.
Yeah, I do that.
I'm ignoring him for the moment while I have a very stern conversation with the OIM and Hudson, who I've roped into this. What are you going to do?
So first thing the OIM does is he calls up Tassoni to come to the deck and shows you the picture, and I presume as an Italian, your first comment is, if she had a shower, she would be very beautiful, or something like that. It would do something horribly sexist, and now I have earned my racism for the day point for having been terrible to Italians. But yeah, he shows you the same footage. You see her walk across, and you're like, and he's like, this doesn't look like one of the crew. This looks like an intruder.
Does she look like she just came out of the water?
No, she doesn't look wet at all.
Okay.
Doesn't look wet at all.
Huh. That's even weirder. Oh, well, I guess, yeah. All right, I'll go look for her. I mean,
yeah, security's here. I'm passing that off. I'm gonna go see what Townsend wants.
No, I want. It's at least a problem I can deal with. At least it's a problem with the face now. That's better than this weird bullshit
Hudson,
about the cave. Yeah,
Hudson, they trained you in the Navy how to use a firearm, didn't they?
Oh yes, they did. Both regular and of the heavy variety.
All right. Not to mention artillery. Your character can absolutely shoot down an incoming, air to surface missile with a Vulcan cannon if we run into one of those during the scenario. But so the OA takes the two of you, Hudson and Tassoni, down to his cabin and goes and unlocks the box that he keeps as his shotgun case and hands out a pair of really nicely made, probably Italian, because God knows for some reason the Italians love making quality high-end. I don't know what the deal is. They're of all of Europe, the only people who give a shit about shotguns are the Italians. And hand out these Benelli or something over and under, shotguns are clearly, you're looking at them, they're clearly designed for like shooting pheasant or ducks or some such,
Mm-hmm.
And because they're a little long. They're a little long for the confined spaces in this rig. And they're, he starts handing out shotgun shells to you. He says, it's bird shot, so on the plus side, it probably won't go through anything the rig is made out of. So that's a plus. Try not to shoot anybody, but find her and corner her and, bring her, I don't know, back here or something, I guess. Is that what we do in these situations?
Yes, that's what we do. Yeah. How cold is it outside in July in Greenland?
It's in the 20s. It's the 10s. Yeah. Okay. I want to say it's like, what are they? And here's the fucked up weird thing.
Oh, this is the fucked up weird thing?
Well, the fucked up weird thing about the temperatures out here, the temperatures on the Greenland side of of Baffin Bay, right next to the water, are like 20 degrees higher than on the opposite side, just a few miles inland. There's something about the way the ocean currents work, that warm water comes up along this coast and keeps everything barely hospitable. So the average temperature is like 9 Celsius for the whole year, or something. I'm sorry, the average temperature is minus 9 Celsius, whereas across the other side of the bay, it's like minus 27 is the average for the whole year. So right now, your temperatures are in the 30s out at sea. You add in the wind factor, it's lower. But it's fucking freezing. It's hypothermia weather.
Okay. All right. Yep.
Okay. I want to get some zip ties too.
All right. Not a problem. Yeah. That's easy to come up with. There are 1,001 uses, not just for taking hostages, and all kinds of industrial uses. So they're going to be available to you.
We're capturing.
You wouldn't believe how many zip ties are in your car.
Yeah. And a blanket, and basically
radios.
Yeah, radio. I assume we already had them.
Oh, okay.
So here's the plan: I'll grab her, you tie her, you zip tie her, and then we'll just carry her into a storage room we can lock her up in, and then figure out what to do with her, and put in a blanket and some food and water, and see if she'll answer questions. But my character is not even going to load his shotgun. He is not.
I was saying, do you know how to use that?
Yeah, of course. I was in the Italian.
It's the Italian Navy's version of the SEALs.
Yeah,
it's the Italians have a very long, proud tradition of doing absolutely crazy batshit things with frogmen. That goes back far longer than the U.S. Navy or the British Special Boat Service. They were doing that crazy bullshit in World War I. And even before Jacques Cousteau came up with the rebreather that made scuba so cool and less lethal.
So
yeah,
Lorenzo's like, this is just a coincidence. Someone must have snuck their girlfriend on there. She got strung out on pills, and now she's wandering around. And we just gotta let's all grab her. You zip tie her, and we'll put her in the brig. And we'll find out.
Did you hand the shotgun back to the?
No, I'll carry it. I'm not gonna it's a nice shotgun, but I'm not gonna. I'm just have it on my back.
Right.
Yeah,
because he's the boss.
Saw that thing off straight through one of the filigreed stag heads.
I would never
on the barrel or whatever.
As a proud Italian, I must respect the fine
I'm considering doing that. Actually, I'm like, this is not a close quarters boarding weapon.
Yeah, I am not going to.
Yeah, now, if you want to make that argument against him and say, look, guy, I mean, seriously, this is and number one, it's not a close course boarding one. Number two, this stupid thing doesn't have a sling. There's no sling. You're stuck carrying it around with one hand tied up.
God damn it.
He thinks this is a solution. This is not a solution.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll put it down before.
Remember, he's from Texas, so.
Yeah. Goddamn Americans. I think guns solve all their problems. Yeah.
All right. So do you just want to, again.
I'm going to radio to whoever's at the cameras, be like, where is she?
Good call. Now, somebody else can do that. Somebody on the bridge can certainly look at the cameras and tell you where they see her or if they see her. Right? That's not a problem. That can absolutely happen. And you guys can be radioing it. Hey, back there. All right.
That was Maddie.
But a beer mysteriously appears out of the firmament or whatever that was. So anyways, Dodge can absolutely do that job for you, and he can. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, or better yet, let's have a PC do it. Would you like to do it there, Mr. Campbell? Would you like to be the guy watching the cameras?
No, I'm responding to Townsend's call. Townsend
okay.
Back to the lab. Yeah.
All right. Go ahead and take care of that now, please.
Okay. I don't know if Townsend's back, but
I'm here. Sorry.
All right, I know Trask is there, so I come back to the lab.
Hello.
As the petrochemical engineer is known, I'm going to buy a boat with my money. Or whatever the fuck he's talking about.
Hey, Campbell.
Yeah, what's up?
Whatever it is you found, whatever it is you guys have dug up over there, wherever it is currently on the rig, I'm going to need you to sequester that entire area from the rest of the crew. Everyone needs to stay away from it currently, as we're trying to identify its potential risks of exposure.
So I'm sidling away from the petrochemical engineer. So about that,
it says exposure. Exposure to what? Wait,
nothing.
Exposure.
Nothing. You get back to work.
I think I need to know. What do you mean exposure?
That's going to be a little bit of a problem, Doctor. There's somebody on the rig.
What do you mean there's somebody on the rig?
I went down to my station. It was opened up. The mud pumps were exposed. I checked the camera. There's a woman doing. I got Dodge looking at it right now.
Okay, so you have two problems. This one. There's a person on the rig. I don't think presents as much of a threat to the entire station's well-being compared to what we're currently dealing with.
What are we currently dealing with?
No fucking clue.
It's an organic thing, though? I was right about that?
Yeah. It's organic. I mean, so is oil, but it's not oil.
I assume Trask is just watching the beaker go down slowly as we're having this conversation.
You see me wearing a respirator.
I'm working on the microscope. I'm watching over time because I want to see at a microscopic level what's happening to this.
Acosta's just leaves the room at this point because it all falls together that Dr. Townsend's wearing this conversation you're having, and Dr. Townsend he sort of tumbled to the fact he's wearing a respirator. He just leaves. He just walks out of the room.
Acosta, keep your fucking mouth shut. Don't go.
Right. He doesn't even look back. He just goes out the door. So, sand roll. I'm sorry, I didn't mean sand roll. I meant please roll awareness, Philis. Trask.
For searching
V.
for the
Yeah.
are totally normal in person. Let's see, what is my
47 under 62.
Okay, now you can roll a sample.
Yeah,
fellas.
sure.
And we'll get back to you guys' rules in just a second.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh,
Cool.
I fail that. It's not a fumble,
Okay.
but it's a fail.
That's a point. It's a genuine point. I have a tendency to, I remember somewhere in one of the, I guess in the Delta Green book, it says, getting fired from a job can cost a point of sanity. I would have to say that's the time you fucking freak out and throw things. That is sure, you can lose a point of sanity getting fired, but it's the one where you, on your way out, you tell everyone that what you've always thought of them and, possibly kick the waste paper can across the room or something. What you're seeing doesn't require screaming or yelling or anything like that. But you are seeing this material shrink in the, you put it under a, I'm presuming you put a smear on a slide, and you crushed it, and you put the thing on it, and it's literally, you're watching it get smaller. If it's not turning into a gas, that's the only thing that would make sense. It would be turning into a gas. You already saw the thing. I mean, I guess roll awareness as well and see if you noticed what was happening with the weight. You were watching the material go down. Did you bother to weigh it when it was getting smaller in the beakers? Or did you share that? Or did you share that information?
I mean, I had planned. That was my goal, is to weigh it whenever I was measuring it out.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and say that's an open secret now, that it was weighing less. It was literally weighing less. So the only explanation is this stuff's turning into it's evaporating. That's the only explanation that makes sense.
And at a microscopic level, I can't, it doesn't look like it's moving or it's not. Okay.
Yeah, there's no eyes looking back at you. No, so that's good. But again, it's shrinking. It's getting smaller, but that would imply evaporation, but the smell's not getting stronger.
Yeah.
You would think that as it turned into a gas, the smell will get stronger. It's not happening.
I do have at that moment the thought that we need to go back to the drill head because I want to see what's happening with everything that was on the drill head, if it still is there or not.
Okay. Does anybody else go with her?
Yeah, I have a question. Do we have a GCMS on this rig? Chromatography.
I assume it would for a petrochemical.
I presume there has to be, and that's how all this work is being done with a gas chromatograph.
Okay, yeah. If we have access to one of those, we might consider either running this. I have some theories.
Go ahead.
Hypotheses. Not only running the substance itself through it, but also running the material, a piece of material that it's come in contact with, or something else that.
Oh, like the hard hat.
Yeah, something.
All right. You two. All right. So Campbell and Trask go back to the drill head.
Yeah.
It's gone. The drill head's looking clean as a whistle.
Oh.
And the answer, unfortunately, is that that Stanton just said, well, we washed it. You had a sample, so we just had it washed off with seawater. You had samples, so we washed it off so we could get back to work.
Stanton Dodge needs you. He told me he needs you up in the control panel. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. I guess he believes you. There's no reason not to. Now, afterwards, he won't believe anything you say, you dirty drug addict.
I don't think it's going to matter.
So you leave. Sure.
When he's gone, I get the driller and the crew over. I get the roughneck guys I've had to work with for months.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, all right, we need a camera on the end of the drill. We got to drop this as much light as you can get on it. We got to start pushing the pipe down. We got to get a visual on what the fuck we just drilled into.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was Stanton's plan. We're already working on it.
Okay, but you got to go faster. If it's filling up with water, we're not going to be able to see shit once it fills with water. We got to go while there's still air in the pocket. So we got to push. I need you guys to hurry up with it.
There's air in the pocket? It's all news to them. All right.
Yeah, I understand.
Really?
We got to go double time.
All right.
Quick,
Undersea
fast, in a hurry.
caves. Sounds fun. We'll do it. No problem. So they get to work on it. Now, back to the bug hunt.
Why would you say that? It's just,
I mean,
it's a stove.
Totally normal human hunt.
yeah, exactly. So
Biologically human.
Yeah, everything's fine. So you guys go back. Where do you guys start? Do you guys start like back at the mud?
Last known place we know that she's been spotted at. All
right. Sure enough, there are some muddy footprints, and by mud I mean the stuff that was used in the pipe. It's still got particulate in it from the drilling, as well as the sort of lubricant that's used, and it it looks like there's a lot of mud spilled. There's a fair amount of mud spilled on the deck here, running down between the sort of steel catwalks that connect all these areas. And no footprints come into the puddle of mud, but they exit stage left. Let's say starboard. You just start by following those?
Sure.
Might as well.
Okay. So you follow those footprints. It's not hard. And
radio into the bridge to tell them where we are going before we start going there.
Mm-hmm.
You pass some workers who are like, "What the fuck, dude? Shotguns? What the fuck?" Is it,
Don't worry about it. Have you seen the stowaway?
No, I haven't.
As you were.
Okay. Yeah. All right. They're nervous. They, guys with guns, even if they're unloaded.
Oh, mine's loaded.
I recognize that you're. Now, my question is it loaded and open or loaded and closed? Because my understanding about these stupid over and under shotguns is the only way to not have it ready to go by pulling the trigger. There's no hammers on these things. If you keep it broken open, the standard way people are expected to carry these while hunting pheasant or shooting is to keep it broken open. Otherwise, you close it. It is cocked.
Yeah, I'll leave it open for now.
Sure.
We're just looking. Yours isn't
closed,
even
but
loaded.
Unloaded, so yeah. The shells are in my pocket. I'm just
Yeah, you can't believe you're being asked to take an elephant gun to shoot a tiny little girl.
Yeah.
All right, that's cool. You guys find your way. You made awareness rolls. Please tell me what your awareness rolls were and whether you made them.
I made it.
I got
all right.
70.
I got 35 under 74.
Okay, and you didn't make yours. All right, then in that case, Hudson's the guy leading the pack here, going, there's some footy. The mud stops. It stops being footprints. And then it becomes kind of like just smears because the mud maybe is running down our legs or whatever. And the mud comes up to the trail of mud comes up to a storage locker or a storage space filled with that's the sort of thing that's filled with tools and whatnot, gear, and this comes right up to the door. There's this thing has it doesn't have a spin wheel door or valve, but it does have a sort of a lever that you pull down to open the door. Mm-hmm. Who wants to go first?
I'll go in.
All right.
Is there a little window to see what's in the room?
Yes, there is. There'd be a hatch in it so you can look through.
I mean, I'll look in first. Yeah.
All right. There's a light on in the back. All the lights in this place are covered by cages. Just going to say that right now. It's just bulbs or whatever it is inside a cage to prevent them from being broken by things flying around in here, ice storms, the seas, and things like that. Through the window. Make me an awareness.
Another 70. Exactly.
Excellent. Yeah. You don't see anybody in there.
All right. Well, I'll still open it and look in.
Okay. There is some... Okay, make another awareness roll, please.
Am I allowed to make this one as well? Okay.
I finally make one. 16 out of 70.
Yeah.
Okay.
24 out of 74. I also make it.
63. Yeah.
16 out of 63. Okay. No doubles. However, you come in, there's one of the things that's in here is extra. There's like all kinds of tools and such in here, but there's also some things like extra work boots, extra work, these sort of heavy duty Arctic jumpsuit sort of like things that are, you zip up and these big thermal built into them. You see a empty spot. I mean, there's a bunch of them on hooks, and you see one hook doesn't have one of these jumpsuits on it, and the boots that should be sitting down there underneath them are gone. The other thing that's a bit odd is that the trail of mud and you see some mud on the floor, just smears of it. It doesn't quite line up right. It sort of looks like she came up to the door, stood to the right of the door, opened it, and then stepped around very quickly to the right side of the door like she was being tactical. That's what it looks like to you, who actually has done commando shit. He jumped around that corner. There's no mud in front of the door or on the other side of the door. It's just, there's only mud to the right-hand side.
Okay.
But there's also not any smears of mud against the wall, either on the right-hand side. There's nothing like she put her back to the wall. I mean, It sort of looks like she might have put her back to the wall and jumped around, then closed the door kind of in a tactical way. But it looks like she's put boots on and might have taken one of these jumpsuits, in which case she's not going to be living in a trail of mud anymore.
Yeah.
Not that she had much left.
I mean, I'll poke through the clothes and stuff like that to make sure she's not hiding behind, like, anything.
All right, you thoroughly search the room. Nobody in here.
All right. Okay. Well, I'll radio that in that she's got boots and a jacket on. Are the jackets like numbered or anything?
No, they wouldn't necessarily be. I don't think so. But you radio that back into Dodge, and Dodge makes an announcement that the stowaway is wearing a thermal jumper for a work suit and boots, and an attempt to blend in with the crew will be harder to spot her with her giant pile of tangled, dirty black hair and complete nakedness, which he now regrets not having mentioned before. Although, presumably, somebody would have, found that. Where are you guys going to go look now? Just to try and do a systematic search?
Yeah, I mean, without any active information, we have no idea why she's here or what she's looking for.
Go ahead and give me a luck roll to start. Both of you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Under 50, yeah.
All right.
I got 95, so no. If we're going low is good.
Low is good, and my understanding is low is good on luck roll.
Yep.
Yeah, while you're poking around, you get this call. Hey, guys, could you come back up to the control room? It's Dodge. It's something you might want to see.
All right. Yeah.
All right. Yep. Chip.
You get back. It's not a big rig. It's not the world's largest, offshore facility. Dodge looks unhappy. The guy who runs the radio also looks unhappy. They've been looking at the security footage. They ran back to tapes, tried to find other things, and they're like, "Yeah, this is weird. We're going to share the sand loss now, so you should look at this." Basically, is what they say, and they point you to a piece of footage, and it's a piece of footage where you see the guys that you ran into when you were running around doing stuff, and those two guys you ran into, like, "Hey, what's with the guns?" You see them walking down one of the areas of the ship. This is before they ran into you, according to the time clock. And you recognize the area of the deck. It is before the closet, before the maintenance area. Mm-hmm. And they do not notice the naked woman who walks right past them. She just walks right past them, and they're all blah 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 blah. How about the Lakers? And they just walk right past her. And she doesn't like skulk or cringe or like jump around like some sort of animal. She just walks like a person. She just walks right past them, and they do not tumble to the fact that she walked right past.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, actually, let's go with the rationalization first before Dodge, sort of glom onto what he saw. Those two are in on it with her. The only rational explanation. Yes, we've been infiltrated by Greenpeace. Those two guys must be in on it. You go down and find them and you bring them up here.
All right. Sure. Okay.
It's not going to be hard. You're going to be able to pull their names off the roster. You're going to be able to go to their duty station. People are like, you bring the shotguns and you just go leave those back in the
I'm going to leave them in the control room. Yeah.
I'm bringing the shotgun because I don't know what's going on.
I don't. Yeah.
We can walk questioning.
Did you? But I was like, the first question. I suppose one of them might be thinking, "Did you lose one of the shotguns?" But they're like, "Dodge, what's this?" Okay. They come back up to the control room, and everybody has a big round of, I don't understand. I didn't see her. Well, you walked right past her. She's completely naked. Is that the stowaway? Yes, it's the fucking stowaway, and you must be in it with her, or you would have said something about a naked woman on the oil rig. Look, if there was a naked woman on the oil rig, I totally would have noticed, and I would have said something about it. I'm divorced, right? Anyways, that goes around and around while the two of you sit there with your mouths open watching this.
I'm gonna radio. Let's see here, Campbell, and be like, "Hey, any weirdness with that stuff you found in the drill head?"
I'm going to give you the Trask.
Yes, Trask.
Could that stuff we pulled up, could that affect people's senses, cause them to hallucinate or not see things that are there?
Oh, I suppose it's not out of the realm of possibility, because at this point we're not 100% sure what it is, and if it is in fact breaking down and dissolving into a gas, that could be.
So it could be doing that.
I mean, it's no more weird than this thing breaking down in front of my eyes and disappearing. So I guess I'm not going to discount any theory at this point.
Okay.
Wait, sorry. That, having thought about this for just a moment, that is a wild question. Why do you ask?
Let me go talk to you in person. Maybe not over open thing, actually.
Yeah.
I'm going to come to you. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to nudge for Hudson to follow me, and then I'm going to get my phone out and just pull up the camera app and just start looking through things through the camera app.
Nice job.
All right. Yep.
So
you might have to go back to your cabin to retrieve your camera because there's no. Well, that's not true. No, if I understand correctly, there is a satellite link to Wi-Fi on this thing.
Yeah,
you can make calls from the rig. That is not an issue. It's only an issue when everyone's doing it at once or whatever. There is your ability to contact friends and family is one of the things that keeps you from mutinying and burning the place to the ground, much like the food.
Yeah.
Food in the showers and the being able to FaceTime with your loved ones. So, yes, you won't have to go back to your room to get it. You'd have it on you, Absolutely.
So, yeah, I'm just...
All right.
Yeah.
What is this?
I'll make my way down to there. Yeah.
What is this? Fatal frame?
I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
No entiendo. Fine. That's Spanish. It might be Italian. I don't know. So they're so close sometimes. All right. Let's see here. Doc Townsend, where are you at?
I was running the samples through the spectrometer, the
gas chromatograph. Yeah. Go ahead and make me a roll on biology, please.
Cool. I know biology. 34 out of 48.
Okay. Whatever it is, it's definitely going to involve. My presumption with a gas chromatograph is you're going to get information about what elements are involved in this. Break it down to it incinerates. My understanding is that it incinerates the sample, creates a gas. You shoot lasers through the gas. It tells you, what elements and molecules are involved based on how the lasers pass through the gas that is created from heating this. That I think is how a gas chromatograph works.
That's my general kind. I think it's It uses it's also pressure too, though, isn't it?
A sample's heated, sent through a column, and based off when it's retained within the system, you can detect on what it is, provided that there's a mass spectrometer attached to it. Which, for the purposes of this adventure, let's say that there is. Yeah.
There would be a petrochemical lab.
Yeah.
There are a number of things that are together here that kind of shouldn't be. This thing is made up of a lot of carbon and a lot of silicon and a lot of stuff that wouldn't be found in your initial, sort of appraisal of it as a kind of interior biological, like the lining of of the interior parts of a GI system, particularly the silicon.
Particularly the silicon. Not think about that part.
The silicon is particularly odd, since that would have absolutely nothing to do with carbon-based life forms and their ability to digest things. So, what next, Doctor?
I was testing the sample itself, but now I wanted to see if I could test things that had come into contact with it and see if the same results, see if I could sterilize the objects that have been come in contact with this stuff, and then run the sterilized object and see if we get the same if we get hits for the same contents that we're getting out of the sample itself.
Sure. What you're going to be able to determine over a couple of hours is that when you talk about sterilizing, you can, the more you smear this stuff over more larger areas, the more surface area of this is exposed to air, the quicker it seems to break down and dissolve and turn into nothing. It doesn't leave a residue behind.
See, my worry, my hypothesis is that it's not evaporating or breaking down. It's becoming, or it's integrating itself into whatever it's touching.
Certainly, you run whatever is coming out. I mean, there must be a way to, use the beakers or Erlenmeyer flasks or whatever the materials in that, and presuming this stuff, if it is evaporating, it is outgassing. Can you put can you use the gas chronometer to measure what is being outgassed from the Erlenmeyer flask or whatever? I should do better research.
Yes.
The answer is...
The answer is yes.
The answer is, that's the answer. I feel better because you don't get anything. There's literally nothing leaving the Erlenmeyer flask.
Okay, so it's not evaporating.
Despite getting smaller.
Yeah, so it's losing its mass without actually undergoing the process, which would cause it to lose its mass.
See?
And it's not leaving behind any kind of residue. It's not leaving behind any kind of remnants of it.
No.
So it's just ceasing to be, at least on
the sand.
Yeah, I was afraid of that.
This is what happens when you roll good, science rolls around.
Play stupid game.
I had to pick the Doctor in a fucking Lovecraftian horror game. They always 77 out of 60.
Ooh.
Oh,
okay,
no, baby.
All right, let's see here.
You defeated the tyranny of conservation of energy.
Yeah.
It's ruled over as two.
We won. We won the law of physics.
Stop drilling.
We won the war on physics. Yeah.
It's not great. Take 3.
Holy fuck!
It's not great. Take 3.
Yeah, it's not great.
It's definitely not.
Is there alcohol on board this ship?
Oh yes, there's a bar and there's a bar and everything. But they have, generally speaking, there are limits to how much you can pour.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
You go to the bar.
Yes, I do.
With
my readouts and everything, I take all the data I've acquired, and I just have it sit. I set it down on the bar, and I just tell whoever's running the bar at that moment, I'd be like, "Hey, whatever the rules, I don't give a fuck. You keep pouring.
Make me drunk.
Make me drunk. Hey, those I've got OxyContin.
Yeah, you probably do.
Yeah, OxyContin for shots. Let's go.
Hell of a trade.
Great OxyContin shots. That'll be fantastic.
No, I will trade OxyContin for shots for as many shots as I want or need.
Let's see how bendable this is. Yeah, he absolutely takes the oxy off of you. It goes in his pocket, and he just pulls out whatever bottle of whatever you're interested in, just slams it down in front of you, open, has no cap on it. There you go.
Hell yeah.
Do you want a glass?
Absolutely not.
Okay,
I
Doc.
expected
Chili
more.
straw or
Yeah.
I'm just curious. What do you think the Doc's choice of beverages? Mezcal?
I think vodka. Just
Mm.
the crappiest. It says
It's called
filtered on
vodka.
it just to be safe, like just so they cover their bases. Just says filtered.
Okay, you just go for the cheap ass plastic bottle of Taka. Or
Yeah, it's like Tabarsky. That's what just down in that. Pop
I'm
off.
surprised this illegal drilling operation hired such a bartender with low ethics.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Well,
crazy.
my understanding is that the person who runs the bar is part of the catering staff. Now, there is a whole.
That dude's probably
Uh,
fucking cool. Not gonna
Oh
lie.
man,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
probably
Yeah.
has a
having
really
probably
good
worked in
story
food
about.
service.
Yeah,
He's probably a bro.
yeah.
Everybody I know of who's worked in food services, their joke about how many how many years has the line chef done?
Yeah. I've
It's
worked a
like,
lot of food. There's the people in the back are they're the fun ones.
mhm. You're like, okay, I'll be enjoying that oxy. So you are left with a bottle in the bar. So
Does
As I
Tassoni show up filming a TikTok while we're on the strapping a camera to the fucking drill bit?
well, let's see. We rolled for luck, and
I made it, and Hudson didn't.
okay, or the other way around, wasn't it?
No, I made my luck. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you're sort of poking around, filming your TikTok video. Thank you. I never even thought of that. Yeah, you should absolutely upload this shit immediately. That'd be
I'm not
fantastic.
recording. I don't want to waste the battery. I just
I
want
mean,
to be
I
able
had
to
a
see.
line like, "Are you filming a TikTok in the middle of a criminal oil drill?" I was going to do the wire thing when he showed up, but if he hasn't arrived,
I'm looking for Trask so I can explain.
taking notes on a
This-
fucking criminal conspiracy.
Well, yeah.
You at some point, give me an awareness roll.
Okay. Yeah. 26.
All right. Now make me a sand roll, please.
Oh, I failed that with an 85.
Okay. You're going to make another sand roll in a moment. You're going around with this thing. Hudson, please make a sand roll.
Okay. A 17, so that's a pass.
Okay. You will also get a sand roll. At some point while you're moving around, you see a figure in again, they're all these orange, safety orange, heavy duty jumpsuits, hoods pulled up, and can't see any hair ahead or whatever. But you see a short figure open a hatch in front of you and start to poke their head out into the hallway. You immediately detect that when the face turns your direction, it looked away from you at first. It looked back towards the two of you. You can tell that they're still. It's a face that looks like it's blacked out using like camo paint or something. You know what I mean? It's and that immediately triggers your that's the stowaway.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Tassoni, what you saw two things. One, you saw the door hatch open, and nobody stuck their head out. The hatch opened like towards you guys, out of the room, and so when they looked one way, they had to look around the door to see you. You noticed that you didn't see her when you looked up at the door hatch, but you did see her on the phone. What do you do? And I'll give you a sand roll for that. But you get one. You'll get one later. Don't worry, Mr. Hudson. I didn't name a character in this game Hudson without expecting taking some sand hits and possibly some acid.
I'm just gonna grab her. I'm
right.
gonna be like, yeah.
Roll sand. Roll
All
sand.
right. That is. How much did I lose from the first sand loss? Or did I lose any from? I failed one.
No. You absolutely did not.
Okay. I make that then 49.
All right. Your brain says, well, obviously you just didn't look. You just missed her on the camera, or you just didn't quite spot her. It's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's just fine.
Don't worry about it.
You guys just go right at her, right? Is that the plan?
I'm going to grab her, and try and zip tie her, yeah.
Okay, she's, enough yards away that you're going to have to make an athletics roll.
Oh, yeah, I'm good at that, actually. A 9 out of 7.
Okay. You get there. She just, she goes back in the room. Hudson, you see her go back to the room. Hudson, what are you doing?
I am closing the gun.
Okay.
And proceeding.
Make a athletics roll, please.
Athletics.
How fast
Okay,
you get
I
there.
can do that.
That's about speed
78 over 65, so that's a fail.
You're behind him. You're going to take a combat turn, 3 seconds, 3 to 5 seconds to get there. Tassoni gets there immediately. Now, on the way, she started to step back in the room. The door started to close. You got there fast enough that you got your hands on that door and you just rip it open, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're able to, like I said, get your hand on the door and pull it open before it closes and latches, and then you'd have to pull the handle to latch it. So you see her in these oversized, almost comically oversized boots. I mean, really, they're they're way too big. The jacket's way too, the whole outfit's kind of like they've put 3 gophers in a trench coat, kind of, it's just way oversized. You threw open that door and are immediately presented with the sight of her falling to the floor.
I'm sorry, through the floor?
Yeah.
Or two?
Roll sand.
Okay, yeah. Oh, you're going to like this. I got an 88. So,
absolutely fantastic.
Doubles are good, right?
Well,
for listeners,
you definitely have 89 sand, don't you? Yeah.
Cool.
You take 4.
Yep.
Yep, just shot right down to the floor. Below this is the area of the ship where the rec room, common area, things like that.
Bar?
So Doc.
Hey, what's up?
So you're having a drink in the bar.
Did the clothes go with her?
Yes.
What the?
Would it be better if they didn't? And there's just a crumpled jumpsuit and some boots there?
It would make sense. It would make more sense.
I mean,
yeah. Anyway.
All right, fine.
No. I mean, it's worse that way. It's it's worse.
She's the T1000ing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So, Doc, you're having a drink in the on the bar, and figuring out how you're going to explain again the law of conservation of mass and energy just flew out the fucking window.
How about we don't have that discussion? We're just that's why I'm trying to drink that discussion away right now.
Well, sadly for you, there is sort of a crash behind you and a yell of people. And there appears to be like a tumbled table that some people were sitting around. And everybody who's in here is dressed in basically their street clothes. All right, they that maybe they wear. I mean that this facility is built with sort of almost like airlocks to go out into the weather.
Sure.
Right. So everybody in this area is basically in their street clothes, although that can end up being a lot of heavy-duty gear regardless. But the table has crashed over to the side. When you turn around, the table has crashed over to the side, and there is a person dressed in a rig worker's cold weather work gear, who is sprawled onto the floor. The other people around the table are basically responding with something along the lines of, "What the fuck? What the fucking fuck?" They're all jumped up from their chairs and are stumbling away backwards from the table. You're not sure what's happened, but it appears this person has thrown themselves onto the table and knocked it over or something. What do you do about that?
The first instinct is to run over and administer aid to a
Okay.
person. If they seem to be in distress. It's kind of my job.
Yeah, and that's where all the best lawsuits, medical malpractice lawsuits come from. Is after you had a couple of belts, you try to render aid to somebody, and then they
Hey, you know what? You know what? History does not repeat itself. Okay, I got this under control.
All right.
The description, in fact, it says she's not an alcoholic. She just had a rough stint and drank a lot during a very rough period, and then quit. This isn't a repeat incident. This is
not.
Every day is a new opportunity to make good choices and a difference in the world.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Positive thought.
Power of positive thought. All right.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Please make me a sand roll.
Not today. 78.
You run over there. She's gone. The two guys who are at the table are looking around like, what the fuck? She was just, and they're also looking up like, where'd she go, Doc? Did you see her?
I didn't see anything.
The bartender says, what the fuck are you doing? She just ran out the door.
Okay. Well, call security then. I'm heading back to the bar. Back to my bottle. I'm going to need to drink that sand loss away.
Yeah, you're going to make that roll. Make another roll.
Trask, I'm glad we're down here. It feels, normally the drilling floor is very scary, but like,
we're doing great. Yeah,
so,
this is going lovely.
I rolled a 66 out of 57.
How's that breaking point coming along?
I think we're getting close. 48 is my breaking point, so I got a ways to go. I don't know how much sand I just lost, but 3 more? It's getting close.
Yeah, the person vanished just immediately in front of you. The table smashed. You can hear the guys behind you going, she fell out of the fucking ceiling.
I just get very, very angry. I'm like, no, she fucking didn't.
The bartender runs out and looks out of the hall and he's like, she's getting away. She's going that way.
Call security then.
By the way, I have been running this entire time to get to
now, mind you, all right, let's back up. All right. You see her fall through the floor. It's not good.
No.
You show up behind him and you look in and it's just an empty room. It's an empty room with no way out that you saw her run into. Please roll sand.
39 under 70.
You're fine. You're fine. You're not fine, but you doesn't hurt that much. You take some time to. Where'd she go? Where did she? What happened?
Quick question.
Yeah.
Could I see her before? Even though I wasn't, I guess could I see? Was I seeing her through the phone, or was I seeing her just seeing her? Seeing her with my eyes.
Yeah.
But you couldn't, Tassoni, right?
Well, those workers couldn't, so I...
Right, no, but could you see her through the phone and with your eyes, or just the phone?
I think I couldn't see, I could only see her through with the phone.
Okay.
So,
whatever.
Yeah. No, she went through the floor. She's not human. You're going to have to shoot her. I'm going to go back to the control room to get the other gun. All right, she went down to the bar. Good luck. I'll catch up with you. Anyways, I'm going to go get my gun.
You're going to go back into just take the shotgun and all the shells.
Yep.
Riggs haunted. What? Riggs
haunted.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm going to, on the way over, I'm going to radio back to Trask and Trask and be like, hey, the stowaway can only be seen reliably with cameras. So if you have a phone, use your camera app to see if she's there.
Now,
also,
at this
she
point,
went through the floor.
Copy?
Yeah.
Now, okay. At this point, Tassoni has radioed over to ask if people can experience hallucinations, and then said that he would come over to explain in person. And the next time we hear from him, he's talking about a stowaway woman who can only be seen through a camera. I'm just making sure that I've got everything correct here.
Yep.
Starting to rethink who the real druggie is on this rig.
Also, she can melt through the floors. Yeah. Anyways, I'm
melting through the floors, man.
I think it's hilarious that they're coming to you, one of the geologist scientists, and not the person who's trained in medicine, to be like,
and
it's probably smart that you're in psychology for that matter.
Fit every time anybody needs you.
Okay. This is certainly what the psychology department issues.
Negative reinforcement, they'd say. Yeah.
Yeah, no. At this point, like when Tassoni finishes all of this, I just say over, maybe you don't need a gun, Tassoni, and then I'm just gonna like look at Campbell and be like, we need to get Townsend and get to Tassoni like right now because something is happening.
The rig, the floor crew is like, we're gonna load the camera up and send it down.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah,
Right.
do that.
I have a question. Are there any like nerdy people in the crew? Like young kids, like the Ginsel or somebody?
No. There's
Nobody has like an
I-
Oculus on board that I could steal and use as my eyes. So I have my fucking hands free for whatever the shit this is.
GoPro. Ooh,
Yeah,
you like
yeah.
like a head-mounted GoPro?
Okay.
Yeah,
I guess not. I guess I'm limited to my phone.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm thrilled that the scenario has now devolved into everyone just walking around with their phones.
Like I said, we're playing Fatal Frame.
Yeah.
All right. It's like one of those cool geocaching games that went nowhere.
All right. Well, I guess I'm just going to stay here and make sure this camera goes look into hell once we get it down there.
Are you sure? I mean, they can put the feed up to any place in the rig. Do you want to just say you can?
I have them do that, but I don't know where to go. Like,
How about the bar? Good
Yeah, I
place
guess we'll go
online.
find Townsend. Yeah, but I will have it fed. I'll have it fed to Trask's phone, I guess, and I'll use my phone to walk the halls.
There is a announcement, or you hear that there's the guy who's. Let me see what the name of the guy is. Just to demonstrate that I gave all these NPCs names. Let's see here. I will admit that many of the names of the crew of this ship have come from the names of the crew on John Carpenter's The Thing.
I was going to say, how much Cameron and Carpenter names are going to be in this?
Oh, there's a fair number. If there's been, yeah. So, anyways, the guy's name is Locksmith. Lonnie, and he's the guy who's running the bar for the time. He's one of the catering staff, and he calls in to say, "Oh, we just saw the stowaway was just here. She kicked over a table and ran out of the bar," which I'm sure has some cool name like 10 Ford or something, but I'll add that later in the scenario. But yeah, she ran down and she's heading down that corridor to starboard. Do you guys run after her?
Oh, I'm getting the gun first.
Okay. You run back up to the bridge. At this point, it's kind of a mess up there. Dodge is still yelling at these two guys about how, you walk back past her, you've got to know who you let her go past you. Your contract's in violation. Is like, oh, really? And is my NDA also in violation? Because, we don't get paid. We don't keep our mouths shut. That's all going on. That fight is happening. Meanwhile, Wade, who's the radio operator, is just sort of with his back to the security cameras, just watching the goddamn fight. You go in, get the shotgun, fill up on, put your shells back in your pockets or whatever, load the gun. Do you do anything else?
If the cameras are there, I'll check the cameras real quick.
All right, you start doing that. Okay, give me a luck roll, basically, as you are flipping through cameras.
Yeah, 38.
All right. You see... Oh, all right. You see her go up a pair of stairs from the sort of the crew and recreation and crew facilities deck. She goes up a pair of stairs, set of stairs, past some crewmen who don't seem to notice her until she bumps into them, and then they kind of both sway on the stairs and looking around like, what the fuck was that? And she goes right past them. But you know where that staircase is, and you know where it's coming out.
I'll radio to Hudson, and then head that way.
Okay.
All
right. You guys start moving into that direction. Mm-hmm. Doc, you continue to drink unless you...
No, at this point, I'm going to go find Trask. This has been a bit of a sobering event that's taking place in the bar.
So you find Trask, because Trask was coming to you, two bumped into each other. Last time I checked, Campbell is still wants to get a look inside the cave. does not want to get a look inside the stomach because there is no stomach. That's not what we're dealing with. It's not a stomach.
It's just the cave, yeah.
No stomach at all.
No.
I don't know if any pictures come up, but I'm waiting for that, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
I am a roughneck. That is my station. Yeah.
By the way, Tassoni, I want to note that you left both Stanton and Stanton and Dodge on the bridge. Yell at those two guys about they let her go by.
I don't know what to help with that situation. Like, let's get her first, and I can explain it to them. Like, yeah.
Okay, so you guys are moving. Let's go ahead and make a couple of randoms. All right. Give me two things. Okay, Mr. Hudson.
Mm-hmm.
You need to give me a roll and then an awareness roll.
All right. For San, that's a fail. 78 over 70.
Okay. Mr. Tassoni, I need you to give me...
And you give the alertness as well.
Oh, yeah, go ahead and give me the alertness roll.
Oh, that's a fail. 96.
Okay. Mr. Tassoni, give me a SAN roll.
I do make that.
Okay. And I'll give you an awareness roll.
I also make that. 51
Okay.
over 60. Yeah.
You basically run around a corner and just run right into this girl. She just runs right into you, and she just is sort of brought up short in front of you. She looks a little surprised. At least that's what you're getting from the expression on her very dirty face.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do?
I shoot her.
All right. Go ahead and pull the trigger.
Yep. Do I have the plus 20 from point blank?
Sure.
That close? Yeah.
Yep. I knew what they were doing when they hired.
Yeah.
Lorenzo
I hit her.
Tassoni.
Yeah.
Okay. One barrel or two?
Both. Yeah.
Okay. Please roll. I believe it's. Let's see what I do. I think I wrote down the rules on Dodge's character for bird shot. It's essentially half damage because it's just not buckshot. So let's call that.
I think it was a D10 because regular is like 2D10.
Okay, it's 2D10, so it's a D10 minus 2 because it's a lower gauge shotgun. So you're going to be rolling 2D10 minus 4.
Okay. So it's 4 plus 7. So I rolled a 6 and a 9, so I guess that becomes 11.
15? Okay.
Yes.
Boom!
Well, I rolled 15, but minus 4, so 11. Yeah.
You raise the weapon to shoot her.
Mm-hmm.
Her clothes fall off. You fire the shotgun. Nothing happens. She runs away naked without her boots or her jumpsuit.
I'll just go ahead and make that sanity roll.
I assume a shotgun is audible.
Yeah,
in
very.
an oil rig.
Well, that's the thing. These places are loud. Okay.
Yeah, but we're not drilling. But
make awareness rolls. By the way, Hudson, that shot came from back the way you came, behind you.
Turn around.
It's just back the way you came, down that corridor. All right.
All right.
You gonna go towards the sound of gunfire?
Yes.
All right. Cool. You go towards the sound of gunfire. How'd you do there, Tassini?
Failed that. Regular fail, but I would have made it had I not already lost Sam.
2?
Yep.
On the grounds that you've already seen this trick before? Sort of?
I mean, I did not... Like, did she go through the floor, or did she just, like, take the shot and run away? You raised the weapon. As you raised the weapon, her clothes started to fall to the floor. You know, the clothes that she was completely covered in. Yeah.
The shotgun goes off. Then she runs away in bare feet. Again.
Okay. So she took the shot and there's no visible effect.
Make an awareness roll.
Okay. 50 out of 63, yeah.
When you fired, some of those rounds flew down the hallway and hit a sign that was saying things like mess hall is this way and drilling operations. And you can see that those birdshot pellets all bounced off the sign and scored the paint and that sort of thing.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm just going to pause for a moment, like just looking around to see if like she bled anywhere, if there's anything left, if there's any sign. Yeah. That kind
You
of
start looking around on the floor. There doesn't appear to be any trail of blood. Make an awareness roll.
thing. Okay. Yeah, 29.
The sound of heavy boots are coming your way, back from not the direction she ran away from in, but in another from another direction.
I look that way.
All right. A guy with a shotgun comes around the corner.
Is it?
Oh, wait, it's Hudson.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know if you've already fired both barrels and not reloaded. Your chances of shooting
Yeah.
were
Yeah.
probably pretty low, but I just wanted to see how that went. So you're standing over a pile of clothes, and do you pick up the clothes?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna pick up the clothes and look at them, see if there's.
Oh, there's the hey, you know what? There's some bird shot in here. Someone went through the clothes.
I just hold it up and show it to him.
You shot a pile of clothes?
She was in them.
I haven't seen any. I had not seen any of the melting through the floor stuff.
But there's a
I didn't
distinct
see that
chance.
Yeah.
Perhaps he's got the bends. Perhaps he did too much deep diving.
Yeah.
Fine, let's go to the fucking control room and watch the footage. Like, she's not human. I don't know what she is, but I don't know.
All right,
Wherever she is, she's not normal. I don't know any people who can walk around here in these balmy July temperatures in Greenland.
Yeah.
All right, so Trask and Townsend, what are you guys doing once you manage to link up and find out nearby the bar, the 10 forward of this particular starship?
Oh, I need to catch Dr. Townsend up. I say, I think we may have a little bit of a problem. Tassoni called and was asking about potential hallucinogenic effects of this substance that we found, and then was talking about the stowaway only being able to be seen through cameras on our phones, and I think something is very, very wrong with him, and I'm actually concerned that maybe he's correct, that there's something going on with this mass that we found.
Trask, you're a woman of science, right?
No, I got this position because they just thought my hair looked great.
Well, low bar. Look, I don't care about that right now. I've got bigger. You and me have big problems here.
Important question. At this point, as Townsend is talking, can I smell the alcohol on her breath?
Oh, hell yeah. You don't even have to try.
No, you didn't, because they chose vodka, and vodka doesn't have an odor.
Oh, right. Okay.
It is the choice of alcoholics everywhere in order to hide their booze.
Cool.
Vodka won't go wrong.
You could probably tell that I'm...
Well, there's the bottle in your hand, right?
Yeah, the bottle in my hand is probably a good indication. I hand it to you. I'm like, you're gonna want this. I would take a drink now before I hand you this. I'm gonna hand you these results. I checked them multiple times. This isn't my field, but I remember physics. Do you remember physics in school?
Yeah, vaguely.
I would take a drink.
Okay. I'm not going to take a drink because
you're really gonna want this drink here in a second, Trask. And then I hand you the papers, and I said, "There's no way that's incorrect. Those results are correct." I checked them multiple times. I don't know if you're putting two and two together. We're violating the conservation of matter in this fucking place right now.
The results from the gas chromatograph are, in fact, that there is no outgassing from the flask full of goo that is getting smaller and smaller and less mass.
It exists, and then it ceases to exist. Slowly. It's not being absorbed. It's not evaporating. It's not breaking down into other things. It's constituent. And guess what? It's not technically biological. It's kind of biological. It's also inorganic.
Yay.
Those things
So based on my experience as a scientist, is there any way that I could convince myself that likely what's happening is that the gas chromatograph, there's maybe something wrong with it? Or am I like, no, I know for a fact that this is if this is what it's saying, then this is true.
The reason you're not making a sand roll right now is because you haven't run the gas chromatograph yourself or seen it run yourself.
They just plausibly deny my insanity right now. They're drunk.
It's got to be broken, and they got to be drunk. But
between Townsend and this broken chromatograph, and then Tassoni imagining people, I don't know, or seeing people wrong.
Tassani's imagining people, is that what you said?
Well, Tassoni is asking if there are hallucinogenic properties in this mass as it deteriorates, and they were talking about how there's a stowaway, but the stowaway can only be seen through a camera or something. Yeah. I don't know.
So about that I also encountered that thing, that person. Are you experiencing any sort of, I don't know, lost time, seeing things that maybe others around you hadn't seen?
No, and I'm beginning to think that all of you are going mad, and we need to get you off this rig as soon as possible. What is going on?
I 100% agree with you, Trask. This sounds like a wonderful idea. We should leave this rig.
At this point, no, I have not, aside from witnessing this, but not having run it through the gas chromatograph, witnessing this deterioration of mass, that's the weirdest thing that I've got. Because I haven't seen this stowaway at all. I don't know what's...
Okay, first off, I was sober when I ran these tests. I drank as a result of these tests, and I was in there for a few hours. I ran them a few times. The samples...
Did you do it wrong?
No, it's not my first time using one of these devices before. They have medical applications too, not just geological.
Townsend is showing you multiple tests with the same result. It's not just one readout.
And I'm sure I also did control experiments with other substances to see if they gave the same kind of results, and they didn't. They probably gave normal results. So you don't have to believe me. You can test it yourself. The machine's still good to go. It works. It's serviced.
Okay. Look, let's assume for a moment that I
BAM! Shotgun sound goes off.
The fuck? And I'm immediately gonna stare at Townsend and then turn on a heel and just start booking it towards
I run. If I hear a gunshot, I imagine my services are going to be needed now.
You would hope, but
I hope.
Yeah.
All right, you have drawn a crowd, Ross. You've absolutely drawn a crowd, and you're standing over this pile of clothing like you just...
I'm holding it up to show the bullet holes.
Sorry. I thought you were standing over it like you just ganged to the Wicked Witch of the West with a super soaker. But instead, you're like, okay, but people are like, what the hell? What's happened? You're like, what do you tell people with your empty firearm and your buddy here? What do you tell them?
Did I make it as well? Because I made my...
You're going to have to make an awareness roll.
I made my alertness check, yeah.
Okay. Did you crit it? Because you were 2 decks above.
I did not crit it, so I will
continue
staring.
And the crane is lifting the camera into place and running it down the tube, and you're sitting there waiting for that to happen. And now, while and you now can look and see that there's all these cameras. In fact, there's a shitload of cameras. This thing's got a bunch of buggy eyes on it that look in as much of a spherical, realm of vision or rate of vision on this thing, because they're looking behind, and almost completely spherical. It can't see directly behind itself. It's got these, as my understanding is, it's got these wheels that, grip the insides of the pipe so that it can go down under its own power. It can be dragged back as well if it's dead or damaged, but it can run down and run back. So, yeah, you're watching that thing go down the pipe. Just lots of. All
right, well, let them deal with Tassoni then, as they having a conversation around the burnt clothes. Yeah.
Okay. Let's go ahead. We'll fast forward to now. What are you guys doing about the crowd that's gathering before Townsend and Trask appear?
Tell them to get back to work. The stowaway is still on the loose, though. I don't say anything to them. I'm just like, just get back to work. Yeah.
Get your phones out and look for her. She's we need evidence that she's been trespassing and damaging company equipment.
Oh yeah. If you can document it, if you see anything
Antifa.
weird, get your phones out and video record anything you see.
Okay, they do that because none of them really think that they shouldn't be TikToking their criminal conspiracy. As I can't take credit for that, but sure, okay, I mean, mostly they're like, sure, some people are probably thinking, well, if we pull out our phones, then we'll be able to show we didn't rough her up. They'll claim that we abused them. If it's those dirty, Greenpeace people, they'll say we were, punching them or whatever. And,
exactly.
we know how that works. They beat, it's like with the, your standard police arrest. You beat yourself up and then the cops arrive and then, you get to claim the police abuse.
The enemy shot themselves with birdshot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You get everyone away. Trask, Townsend, you find these guys. I presume, Ross, you were reloading.
Yeah.
You get up there.
Question.
Yes.
Just the other. Is it Hudson? Are you the other security specialist here, or the other person in charge?
Yes. Well, yes. I'm former U.S. Navy. So.
Are we all here together? Is the mystery team assembled?
Yeah.
Except
Sans
for
Caleb.
Caleb is off looking for his own special sand loss.
Cool. Hey, that's his problem. We'll deal with that when we'll burn that bridge when we get there. Hudson, can I speak to you in private for a second?
Sure thing, Doc.
Okay, we'll go off somewhere. I've talked to Trask. She mentioned something about hallucinations. Potentially. Who fired the gun?
That was Tassoni.
Was anyone hit?
Some clothes got hit with some bird shot, but I didn't see anyone. I wasn't there when the shot happened.
So Lorenzo shooting clothes?
That's what he told me that the stowaway was wearing them.
First off, where'd the gun come from?
Oh, we got given them by Dodge.
Well, why does Dodge have guns? Why are there guns on the rig?
Security purposes.
Well, you know that these guns are on the rig because you can't help but notice when he shoots trap and skeet off the top.
Oh, that's true. I would know. I would know he was doing that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think they. Yeah, security purposes. And
if they were going to bring you guns to be security purposes,
they were not being filagreed.
No, they would be genuine. They would be genuine Benelli or shotguns or Mossbergs or something.
Well, these pictures of ducks are illustrated on the stock for security purposes.
In case we're attacked by ducks, have you not seen the duck simulator? That thing's vicious.
Hey, we're close to Canada. Canadian geese.
Yeah,
don't fuck with them. They can take a rig down.
Don't say the G word, okay?
Yeah.
Don't even
summon them. Look, I don't know what's going on here. I'm hearing weird, conflicting reports from people and I even saw something that I don't know how to explain. On top of a whole list of things I won't bore you with. They're kind of above your pay grade, and I'm sure you're dealing with stuff above my pay grade. But we need to get that gun out of the hands of Tassoni, if that's possible.
Can I tell that the doc is drunk?
Yeah, well, do you still have the bottle?
No, I've set the bottle. I mean, I handed the bottle to Trask, so.
Obviously, Trask is the drunk one. Don't listen to
him. You can trust geologists. Geologists are drunks by nature. It's the job.
I roll a 38 on my humans.
Oh,
which is a pass.
Is it a pass? Okay, well, you might detect a little slurring of speech.
Okay, but we've all been under stress and have seen weird things today. So I'm like, all right, I'll keep that in mind. But
have you seen anything?
I saw the stowaway blacked out like she's in doing night ops. which doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
She is filthy with. I mean, it was the
Filthy
dirt.
with grime, and she was in a room and then was not in the room.
Okay.
He said she fell through the floor.
What? She fell through the like over like a catwalk, like a grading or something, or she fell through.
What was the floor in that room like? Was it solid?
It was a solid steel room because it was
yeah.
It was a room that had pumping gear in it.
Sure. I just wasn't sure if it was like a grate floor or like solid.
No,
sheet.
it was
solid.
a solid.
Okay.
It was a solid steel deck. That Tassoni said she went through a solid steel deck.
Yep, solid steel deck is what I tell the doc.
And you're okay with that explanation? That doesn't give you some pause for concern?
I saw her go into the room, and then she wasn't in the room.
And this isn't a pause for concern either.
I just need to get paid here, Doc.
Yeah,
there's a stowaway. I gotta find the stowaway and apprehend the stowaway.
Okay,
that's within my job description.
Did you see the stuff they drilled up?
No, I'm not.
Have you come into contact with it?
No, I have not.
Have you come into contact with anyone who has? Have you been in contact with Campbell?
Yeah, he came into the room. I think it was before Campbell collected stuff, or was it after?
Okay,
it was after.
You don't
Campbell, know that, but I definitely rolled you. Yeah,
yeah. Campbell came into the bridge, showing me the security feed where he first saw the stowaway.
Okay,
and we all saw her. Dodge was there. The radio guy was there. Mike.
Okay. Trask said something about Trask. I'm trying to remember if you did tell me something about cameras. Like some people are seeing there on camera. Yeah, she's okay. So Trask told me that this person's appearing to some people on cameras and other people in person. There's some sort of
make a intelligence times 4 roll.
All right, I passed a 37 out of.
There's a camera in the bar. There's a camera in the bar.
Okay, then I'm gonna go. Come with me. Hey, do you mind? Can I borrow you for a second?
Like all of you?
Me?
No, just Hudson.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe Trask too. Just have Trask around because
you're just gonna dismiss Tassoni. Apparently,
I'm gonna go hunting again.
Okay, it's just no problem.
Oil grease on the.
You know what, Tassoni, come with us.
The deadliest game.
Tassoni, have a lead.
We have
okay. Oh, you have a lead. Yeah, I'll go with you. Yeah.
I have a lead.
Sure.
We need to get the feed from the bar.
Sure.
So the command center is filled with people yelling at each other. More people have showed up. In fact, the bartender's there, trying to explain to Mr. Dodge and Mr. I've totally forgotten the company man's name.
Stanton. Yeah.
Stanton, just trying to explain to him what the fuck he saw and what the fuck happened. And the 4 of you come tromping in, tromp. Do you just go straight to the security feeds and start rewinding through the digital material?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, y'all see it. Every last one of you. You can make a sand roll, but it's going to be nerfed because it's on video. And you don't actually see the ceiling. So that's good. But
oh, yeah.
You do see the bar, the dock. Doc's back is to the problem. And suddenly, this person wearing the jumpsuit and the Arctic work gear just comes into frame from above, crashes into a table. Doc turns around, runs over, and then everyone at the table starts looking around like, we're and she just gets up and runs out of the room while, in silence, you see the bartender partying and he runs around the bar and goes out the door after her.
I saw
everybody rolls sand, but if you lose a point.
All right.
I
lost a point.
I lost a point.
Yay! Another point for Tassoni.
Yep.
Not a very bad day.
I saw her hit the table. I mean, I turned around. There was something there, and then there was nothing there. And the bartender was shouting that she was running. I didn't see a fucking thing leave that room with us. I saw something show up, kind of. I mean, I heard it, and then I saw the remnants.
So cameras can show her whatever it is, whatever she is, whatever it is. So phoned. And we got to think of something else that can stop it.
Yeah, Dr. Townsend, do you think we should take the shotgun away from Tassoni?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm like, I love how you're just giving us these like, yeah, we need stuff that could. Why are we not just screaming right now about the fact that this is happening? What is you just cool with this? This is just okay. This just makes sense to you.
I'll be cool with it when she's off this fucking oil rig.
Yeah.
So let's fucking
This is
get her.
just one thing on a pile of insanity that's going on right now on this rig. And
the cherry on top of this shit sundae.
Yeah, like the science people here, we're dealing with a whole other kind of nut. Trask, I promise you, it's not wrong.
All right.
I mean, it's wrong, but
Hold on.
the tests weren't.
Hudson and Stanton is like, everyone stop. You know, he saw it. There's a lot of sand losses in this room. All right. Everyone watched the thing as the girl just got Deus Ex Machina'd into a physical comedy pratfall in the middle of a table and rolled off and ran out of the room. The guys who were at the table were like, I mean, the guys from the bar are in there too with the bartender going, that is what we saw. And then she was gone, you know. Okay, stop. All right. So Dodge says, probably not Greenpeace.
Yeah, we can rule that out.
I don't
So
even
let's-
have this kind of budget.
Yeah.
Let's just go right past that. Okay? What? I got nothing.
Yeah.
You know, actually, I'm going to put the shotgun down.
Stan's like, well, we got to get her off the rig, obviously, somehow.
Okay. Well, I shot her and it didn't do anything either.
What do you mean you shot her and it didn't do anything?
I shot her and it didn't do anything.
And
Hey,
you
was
told-
that it? Yeah, I'm just saying in the I don't give a shit. Is that hallway got a camera in that? Can we pull out and see what happened?
Make a luck roll.
Hey, 37. I'm
All right.
lucky.
Everyone watches it. You went through it, so you don't have to make a sand roll. Everyone else does. Everyone else who's new to seeing you, her just her clothes fall off and she runs off after he fires a shotgun blast into her.
I
How'd you
passed
do?
that.
Thank God
So-
I passed.
Oh,
Okay.
another sand. I'm sure as a doctor, I've seen gunshot wounds and what happens when people are
Right.
shot. So
Yeah.
this shouldn't. Yeah, of course not. Why would I pass that? That didn't, because I don't need to pass sand checks. That's for losers, fucking nerds.
That's
Nobody
true.
likes that either. It's like, what the fuck? The leadership is reduced to what the fucking fuck.
Okay, so
Okay, well, we got to get her off the rig, but we can't shoot her? What the fuck? What are our options?
All right, everyone grab a big wrench, and we were going to.
Wait, we have
What?
fire extinguishers, right? They make things. Well, no, she said maybe if we freeze her or set her on fire. Well, fire's probably bad, but like,
What the fuck are you talking about?
Well, guns don't work. I'm thinking of other ways to hurt her.
Big
So
wrench.
Big
Right.
Yeah.
Why are the? Why? That's the only
You-
question I have. Why
You
Oh,
hurt
wait, do we have
her.
any
Can't
efforts
answer
for it?
questions.
does she seem to be the talkative type?
Well, she
Let's
seems
go-
to be the runny type, and honestly, if somebody was pointing a gun at me, I would run too.
Well, no, I mean she was running even before that I shot her. Like she was
She ran
doing
through the
a lot.
floor,
Yeah, she did.
as you
run.
saw.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
all
don't
of a
think it's
sudden,
human.
the drinking doesn't seem like such a bad idea now, does it?
I mean, she's just running around. Maybe we just let her. Maybe she'll get bored and leave.
Wow.
But, yeah.
Well, at least one person in the room goes, that's a good, I like that idea.
Fuck it, yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, we could just
Maybe
lock
we
ourselves in our room and wait it out. You know, watch things with cameras.
Where's Campbell?
Where indeed the world wants to know.
I want to see what that fucking camera sees, man. I'm watching the feed with all the.
I feel
roughnecks.
like it's about time for that.
Okay.
So, you're running this thing down the pipe, and it zips on down at multiple miles an hour because it's a fast little, robot. You get it down to the bottom of the pipe, and you start getting a vision of this. Now, one of the problems about this is that you get this thing down to the end of the pipe, and it really wasn't designed to leave the pipe. All right, it was designed to go up and down the pipe. There is water. You've got the pipe. You've got water coming in around the edges of the pipe into this space. You bring the camera to the end of this thing. It's kind of got a neck on it that sticks out from the wheels that actually touch the sides of the thing that's of the pipe. The guy who's being the sort of ROVing it gets it, up to the edge, and let's see if he can get it to a spot. No. What you're seeing is all this high pressure water around the pipe coming in with the, pressure that's coming down.
Would it have been possible for me to cement that? Log the flow of the sea coming in further up the pipe and unobscure the view from the aperture of where it's high
it's the kind of thing. It's kind of thing you have to draw a pipe out, out, and then cement it, and then go cut right back,
and then go back in. Yeah.
There's not supposed to be a vacuum that the water is forcing itself into.
Yeah.
But it is. You turn on the lights, it illuminates the water. I'll tell you what, the fact that and yes, there's water under pressure, but it's not a perfect cylinder all the way down. It's not like there's this perfect space that's allowing this water to shoot out like the when you open the sluices on Hoover Dam, right? Let me see if you can fiddle around with this a little bit more. All right. He maneuvers it around a few more times, and he gets something that looks like he gets this. Here's what you're sure of. It's a big cave. There is now a waterfall running down the cave, starting, here at where you've cut into it. The water, like I said, it's under pressure, but it's not, it's not a giant, it's not that forceful of a geyser, because again, the path that the water is taking down into this space isn't perfect. There's all kinds of, but the air is going to force its way out regardless as the water forces its way in. It looks like some sort of basalt or, granite, dark stone cave. There is no illumination save for the lights on the probe. There's nothing else that you can immediately see down here. You're getting video feed from all the cameras at once, right? Some of them are obscured, some of them aren't. Like some of the water is in the way. Some of them are showing the, water running down the side of this cliff face. That's, that the pipe hole is, that the well is sticking out of. A lot of that wall and a lot of what you're looking at is just black space, because the light doesn't hit anything on the other side. You're seeing a fair amount of the wall space that you've punched through that is literally now like behind the probe, which is kind of, like I said, a spherical thing with cameras around it and LED lights.
Lens, IMAX vision.
And so you can actually see the hole that you punched in the wall behind you, sort of. It's a little obscured by the streams or whatever, but mostly you're seeing blank space because all the cameras forward and not back towards the wall. The light, however deep it's going, isn't hitting the other side. And in fact, when you look at the camera on the dorsal surface of the probe, there's light that goes up the wall, but it doesn't reach a cave roof. You don't see a roof.
So we've got the tube of the piping of the drill, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's pierced the wall here, right? Mm-hmm. And my camera's turtle-headed out the end of the pipe, at the end of its umbilical.
Yep.
On its little wheels, right?
Wheels
can I convince the guy to take the wheels out of the pipe and let it dangle and see how far we can...
He says, we'll never get it back in. We're trying to get it back into the drill pipe is going to be really... that's going to be blind luck. It's a, multi-million-dollar piece of equipment. I'm not going to do it.
But it's a live feed?
It's a live feed.
I just bump him. I bump him until he hits the fucking... I just and shove him until he puts the
What
little
the
thing
fuck
where
are you doing? Okay, now we're doing unarmed combat. Is that what we're doing?
I just want him to do it. I don't give a fuck if it's a multi-million-dollar thing of equipment. I want to see you in the fucking hole. Like, yeah.
Hell
right.
yeah.
Now we've the fight begins. Let's go ahead and he's going to try and use armed combat to get you out of the fucking drill, the wellhead shed, make you leave. And no, we're not doing that. And so let's see if we can move you, which is probably not likely. So this is a.
I'm actually kind of a hoss, so
Yes, you are. That is going to be a problem. So let's go ahead and go with
The problem
what is
for
it?
him.
It's contested, right? Yeah, it's an
Yeah.
opposed test. So you roll under your strength times 5.
Oh, not unarmed? Okay, cool.
Yeah, well, it would basically be, once you.
Same
He's
thing.
not really punching you. He's just trying to push you out at this point.
I
becomes
got a
a
26 and 65.
Okay, you succeed. All right,
It's at the edge. I'm not going for him. I'm going for the little stick. I'm
right, yeah,
shoving
all right,
the stick forward.
You do just that. It falls out of the. You do that, and now it's dangling out of the hole. It's giving you different camera shots, and he's like, "Oh God damn it!" It's like, this is taking involved. You're a witness. And the other guy in the shit, yeah, I'm a witness. What the fuck are you doing, dude? Yeah, you're now looking at the floor, the wall of the cave. Now this thing is pointed down the wall. The cameras that look up on its dorsal surface are showing you the spray of water and the water that's running down. In fact, a lot of water is running down on this because you're in the sort of water that's running down the cave. But this thing's designed to operate under all kinds of,
Pressures and
and liquids and things like that. So water is not an issue. Would you care to? He's like, okay. So let me just quickly check this poor bastard's name, since he is now you've now put him in it, right?
Oh, no.
Now he's in trouble. All right. Okay. The guy's name is Joe Polis. And Joe's like, okay, I guess now that you fucked it up, let's see how low you want to lower it to the cave floor or something.
Feed line, tell me how much meters there is. We can calculate how big the space is. I know they're going to be sad they lost a multi-million-dollar camera. I think they're going to want to know that their illegal site they're drilling into is a massive, gargantuan hole full of thousands of cubic of meters of empty fucking space. This place should have filled up with seawater already. We already dumped half the fucking mud down there. If we're seeing air, they're going to want to know we reached the fucking center of the earth, okay? So just feed fucking line and keep how many meters going, count it. We've got to calculate that shit.
I was like, okay. One eye on you before you snatch up like a ball-peen hammer and start hitting him in the back of the head. He starts feeding out line to this thing. Yeah, he feeds out about 150 meters extra cable before this thing finds its way to something like a floor of the cave. It starts to arch out.
Jesus.
Do we see standing water or do we see a floor? Because that means it goes down at an even further gradient.
Yeah.
You don't see standing water.
Jesus Christ. I'm just looking at this asshole as the line meter keeps going. I'm like, you didn't want to drop the camera into this. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to drop the camera into this. Alrighty. Well, that's disconcerting. But what are we going to do now? I'm pulling it up. Let's try it. Maybe we can luck out and somehow one of the wheels will, if we put enough tension on the cable, it won't snap and maybe it'll pull it into the fucking tube, well pipe, and the wheels will get traction and pull it back up.
That sounds great. I got to go report.
You're leaving for this part? Oh, that's fantastic. That's great. All right, thank you. You've been a big help. That fucking asshole.
Send that footage to the bridge. I'm walking up to the control panel.
All right, so you'll get to the bridge eventually. Back to the bridge. What are you guys up to?
Okay, bullets
are we planning to perhaps electrocute her like James Arnaz in the 50s version of the thing, or?
Ooh, I was thinking fire extinguishers, but yeah, at least I would. I don't know. Lorenzo's a doer, not a thinker. So yeah.
It didn't help Gary Busey in Predator 2. Just the whole thing with fire extinguishers there that didn't work out. So
yeah, I don't think if bullets are working, then a wrench isn't going to work either. So
what kind of fire suppression systems does the rig have? Is it like the halogen gas?
No, it's seawater. Halogen would kill people. Also, one of the things to remember about the work decks on this fucking thing is a lot of them most of that is open to the sea. It's because they want to make sure they outgas any chemical fumes that could ignite. So all that stuff is open to the environment, which is why when everyone's working, they're wearing those big heavy duty parka outfits. The cruise areas are closed. Only the crew areas are closed off.
We could turn on the fire suppression systems to outline her in the seawater and then chase her off the ship, or get her with the big wrenches.
Well, seawater is going to be freezing. She bothered to put clothes on. Does that mean she can tell the difference between temperatures?
Perhaps.
Does that matter to us at this point?
I mean, she was walking around naked outside, so she might know the difference, but doesn't seem to immediately concern her. But it would just... she has a physical shape.
I don't know. Why are we trying to kill her? Why? Like, this obviously seems to be someone who's incredibly distressed. I don't know how they got on board, but that's really not the problem. We should be trying to find a way to get a hold of them, to administer some sort of aid to them.
$1 billion question.
Well, yeah. How did she get on the rig?
I don't think she's human. I'll just say it.
What the fuck is that supposed to mean?
I don't think she's human.
Then what's the alternative?
Is she? No, there was air that came out.
Yeah. Humans don't act like this. They can't do things like this. So
we all saw the tape.
Yeah.
I've shot lots of dudes. They all fell over dead.
Yeah, exactly. You shoot them, they fall down. That's pretty simple.
You think it's possible you missed?
I shot through, like, I showed. Did you see her coat?
You can confirm. You can confirm. It'll take whatever minutes it takes. See this? This is what she was wearing. The bullets went through it, and then there's no blood.
Yeah. And there's no body. So she walked away. Yeah.
Right out of her face.
Yeah. She doesn't seem to be doing anything. I mean, other than exploring. Oh, you know what? What if do you have any of those samples of that goop left?
Yeah, but I don't know how much. I don't know what's left of it now. That's the other whole other end of our problem.
Yeah.
Would you like to check?
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
Why don't we?
It's gone.
Okay, I was almost 100% certain that was going to be the case. No, it's all gone.
Okay.
It is left. It is ceased to be.
There are some questions about, well, how is it all gone? Would you use it all up in the gas spectrograph? What you couldn't?
I don't know, Tassoni. I don't know what your grasp of science is, but I don't know if you know that things don't like. Matter doesn't just cease to be, and it ceased to be. It broke the rules. I guess it broke the rules, and that's not how the world works. That's not how anything works. So your thing's breaking rules. My thing's breaking rules.
Well, then I think they're connected.
I'm almost 100% certain they're connected. I just don't know what they're connected. What the connection means, or what they're connected to. There's something else going on. I hope. We gotta get Campbell and see what Campbell's found out. But
I'm kicking in the door the second I'm allowed.
Yeah,
just taking over the room with panic.
The moment he says Campbell, that's your cue to enter the Donnybrook.
Get out of the way. Give me the fucking cameras. Where the fucking USB? Give me USB. I need it for my phone. I'm just screaming at people like. And I'm loading up the.
What is wrong? What is happening right now?
We got a camera at the bottom of the well. I load up the footage on all the screens.
When you said we have a camera at the bottom of the well, at least a couple of you hear somebody mutter, "Oh God." And
I pull up the camera drop, like, and as it goes and I'm showing the entire room, I'm just doing speed calculations of cubic meters of volume. I'm like, okay, assume the light can travel this far. I can see the end. It's at least that far. We dropped this many decaliters when we lost the mud down it, so it's at least bigger than that. And now we got cubic meters going down, and I just start counting out exponential increases of volume of how fucking big this place is. And I'm like, do you all see the problem here?
To the list.
It's really big.
It's big.
What the fuck was on the end of the drill? There's no standing water there. There's no liquids there. It's empty space. We came in at the top. What the fuck was on the end of the drill?
And where did it go?
What's on now? When we look at the cave wall, I'm so sorry if you said this before. Like seeing the cave wall, is there any sort of viscous anything? There's nothing.
it's a little wet, but because of the water coming in, but there's not.
Snot or anything?
No
going
snot.
on?
Okay, so I mean, because of course my first reaction is it's whatever was on the wall when we broke through it.
No. That's when it swings over here. You can see. You don't see any of that shit. Whatever was on that drill climbed up there. We're at hundreds of meters up.
So we're at the bottom of the well, and you said we see like it's like dark and kind of like sloping, right?
Yeah, we get to the bottom apparently, but it's still not wet.
Well,
So-
okay.
Except for the ocean water that's coming.
Yeah,
in.
but it's flowing down because it's not.
Yeah,
it's not a
But
pool yet.
but it looks like rocks. It looks like what you'd expect it to look like.
There's going to be a point where you're going to be thinking, "Oh wow, we were worried it was a stomach. That was the comforting part. If only it would have been a giant stomach we drilled into, but no.
Oh, no.
It's
Sorry,
not.
that is a phrase.
Sorry.
That's what I was
is-
afraid Caleb was going to find went down his hidey hole.
So yeah,
Is
what was ever? There was something in this cave.
Is
And
it
now it's gone.
possible? Because Townsend has yet to share the digestive nature of the materials. I have not shared that.
Look, that line about it's not a stomach
Yeah.
and you wish it was. That's just your game master teasing you. Please don't.
Yeah.
No
But-
character said that shit. All right, please. I'm just.
Oh, but I will. I say, well, I withheld this information because I didn't think it was important. I thought it was just kind of maybe just conjecture on my point, trying to come up with what the explanation. But this stuff is the stuff that we found has a lot of eerie similarities to say the digestive juices of like the digestive stuff inside of like a stomach, like in intestines, like biologically this whatever
Well,
this stuff was.
Less like the digestive juices and more like the stuff that lines the stomach to prevent
Like the lining, like the lining of it.
that prevents the acid from eating your own stomach and causing ulcers.
So yeah, whatever it was had eerie similarities to those things.
What's it made out of? Like,
Oh, that's the fun part.
Chemically.
That's the fun part. It's got all the hallmarks of an organic substance, but then it's got all these really funny things about it that don't make any sense. It makes it inorganic at the same time. So it's kind of this weird mishmash of the two, and that shouldn't happen. That doesn't make any fucking sense because it was a homogeneous substance. It wasn't like it was just a conglomerate of substances. Like it was its own thing, an entity comprised of multiple things.
Do you have like results? You have any kind of?
Oh, do we have results? We've got results, man. We've got results. Trask doesn't believe me. I don't know why. I've told her numerous times.
Go ahead, Campbell. Take a look. You weren't using those sand points anyways.
No.
I even left footnotes for you, so for people to easily
88.
understand.
Ooh.
Oh, dear.
Hey.
Oh no.
Now, mind you, you're just reading the paper, despite the fact you critically failed, but you are just reading a paper. So, it's not like, you're being swallowed by a dole or anything. So, but it's still worth a couple of points.
Fair. So, do I see carbon and silicone on here?
Yep.
Okay, so silicone's probably the binding agent of some kind. So we need like hexane. I'm just thinking it's hexane, something to destroy it. I'll go down to the chemical shed. We can all do. You said it shows up on cameras. I'm just assuming it's all real. Everyone in this office
It's
can
all
call me-
real.
Oh, what are we putting the hexane on? The girl or the goo? What are we doing?
There's no more goo.
It's the same. It's the same fucking thing, man. Whatever it is, it can crawl. Why is no one the salient information? Whatever the fuck it is, it can fucking crawl. All right, it can crawl hundreds of feet in the air. It can crawl miles up the goddamn tube. That is the salient issue right now. If it's a girl, if it's a goo, it doesn't fucking matter. It can move. All right, that is what I need everyone here to grasp with me right now.
Okay,
Hmm.
then.
I'm on board. This guy sounds he knows what,
This is the
what's
first
going
person that's making
You got
sense.
a plan.
on. Yeah. Sure.
The first person that's making sense. That guy. We should listen to him.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Is there a self-destruct button on this thing we can activate? There should always be
Is
a
there? Yeah.
no.
Campbell, did you see that part
No.
in the notes? The part where it doesn't exist anymore, but it like not in like a
Yeah.
not in like a oh it went away, like it evaporated, as in it doesn't exist, like matter.
Now, Stanton and Dodge are looking at this thing going, their response is, the machine must be broken. It can't be giving you these results. These results don't make any sense.
Yeah, no, they don't. You're not wrong.
You know? All right. Here's the thing, says Dodge. She doesn't, up until this point, she doesn't appear to be a threat to the rig insofar as she hasn't harmed anyone that we know of yet. Let's make sure everyone in the crew is accounted for.
Yeah.
And he assigns somebody to go do that. Start calling around, have everyone report in. Are you okay? Where are you? Call out your positions. We'll get that started. We should also assign the crew to start looking for signs of sabotage. Has she fucked with anything? Is she letting the ballast out? Is she cutting lines? What's missing?
She already
right?
looked in the mud. First thing she
Okay.
did.
What did she? What which mud? Which tank?
My station. She opened the hatch and looked at the spoil and the mud that I sucked back up once we hit the breach.
Okay, so it was the most recent stuff we'd used, the stuff that had come up from the drill. Okay. Did she get anything out of it?
How did she know what it was, man? If she came from the bottom of the fucking ocean, how does she know what the pumps lead to?
Don't know. We don't know. How could she have gotten up here this fast? I mean,
If she's from Greenpeace, how did she know to look for it? You can't just fucking grok one of these machines when you get off your Swift boat. Like, it's not possible. Like,
hold it. She didn't open a pump. She didn't activate anything like that. She opened the tank. The tank had, a latch system. Somebody could figure it out. It doesn't take a genius to open the latch of the tank. It does take a genius to figure out how to, get attach the hose to the tank through that intake to get out whatever's, or to put things in, to use this, to refill the reservoir would require technical knowledge that not everyone has. But she opened the tank. Now, the tank's opening is about this big. It's not like the top of a dumpster.
yeah.
Okay. So why did she open the tank?
Looking for something?
I mean, that's
Maybe.
all I can think of. Was it something we pulled up?
Have we checked all the spoil yet?
No.
I've been a little busy, guys.
Oh.
I'll go do that, but you got to make sure that I'm covered. If I can't fucking see her,
I'll
if I can't
protect you. I got my phone. I'll protect you. All right.
I'll go with you too with my gun.
Will someone watch the cameras and check around?
All right. Yeah. We'll Trask will assign to you because Doc, what do you want to do? How would you like to interact with this clusterfuck?
I want to take blood samples of anyone that's come in contact with the goo and that's what come in contact with her, and then I want to run tests and see if anything that showed up in my test with the substances shows up in the blood. See if any of us come in contact. See if it is if contamination's a threat here.
That's a fine idea. Everyone thinks that's a great idea. That's you, basically you, Campbell, and Trask, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Mhm.
All right.
Tassoni touched her.
I tried to. I don't think I actually managed to.
You didn't manage to get a
Who-
hold before.
No, she
Wait,
went
no,
through
somebody
the floor.
she bumped into somebody, right?
Oh yeah, she
Oh,
bumped
yeah.
into the guys going up the stairs who didn't
All right.
know.
You can
And anyone in
isolate. You can
anyone
isolate
that-
who those guys are.
Anyone in
You
the
know.
drill crew as well who pulled the stuff up. I want to just get a blood sample from them and maybe get
All right.
them quarantined in their rooms for the time being.
You start sorting that out. Dodge starts sorting out everyone to call in. And there are, although this vessel can have a crew of 146, there's only 93 on board right now. Which means, I should note, that there are empty staterooms or cabins in the housing section.
Of course.
Yeah. So, moving right along, and one of the things that keeps people from killing each other is not having to bunk together. Everybody gets a closet.
Yeah, nobody's hot bunking. Yeah.
Nobody's hot bunking. Or having to deal with bunk beds or shit. Everybody's got a room, which means there are rooms that nobody's occupied.
Well, I'll have to see what happens in part 2 of this oil rig scenario.
All right.
Thank you all for playing. Thank you all for listening, and we'll talk to you later. And I'll put all the plugs in the show notes. So yeah, for Relatable Rolls, Queen's Court Games, and this little game you may have heard called Delta Green. So
Tiny game, small indie thing.
Don't forget
yeah.
about me, Ross.
Oh yes, and Baz streaming on Twitch is Future Wolfington.
That's me.
That's you.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you all so much for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.